Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. Yet again, it's a Monday. We're here. We're live. The BBP on BearcatJournal.com. That means one thing. That means myself, Brent Young, joined by two highly esteemed friends, two highly esteemed gentlemen in the land of Bearcatness, in the land of Bearcat media coverage, and in the land of just sports coverage in general. That's time to bring in sidekicks, partners, Aaron Smith and Chad Brendel. Aaron, Chad, gentlemen, how are we?
Doing all right. Just excited we got a guest tonight and another one joining us on vacation. Not the first vacationer to join us. So
true
excited
statement.
to see some of these stories tonight.
True statement. Chad, how are we?
I'm great. Got my car back from Danco. It's running like new. Happy with that. Danco Joe took me and my pops out to lunch after I picked it up on Friday. So we're riding high on the Danco train.
Wow. Well, shout out to Danco then. Took a nice selfie with you, I saw. Posted it there on the old Twitter sphere. Danco Joe, getting a little love in there. So, good. Head over to Danco Transmission. Mention BBP. Mention Aaron Smith. Mention Chad Brendel. Mention, you know what? Brady Collins. Mention Brady Collins. That might be able to get it for you. It's Monday. We have a guest. It's not Brady this week. No, it's not. It's someone maybe equally up there in goatness. Chad,
Mr. Bearcat.
Chad, exactly. I'm going to let you introduce our special guest today.
All right. We've got none other than Mr. Bearcat, the legend Ryan Royer, one of my favorite guys to talk to and chat with throughout his UC career, a guy that brought himself from the bottom all the way to the top. Luke Fickell apologizing for not being able to quite get you the Heisman. But Mr. Bearcat is right up there at the top of the list. A hearty BBP welcome to my guy, Ryan Royer. What's up, brother?
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, guys. I'm looking forward to chopping it up, talking some Bearcats, and getting to know Brent and Aaron a little better.
Wow. Sure. I love it. Well, first off, tell everyone where you're at. I mean, you look tan. You look crisp. You look good. Look good.
Well, he's golden. He's golden.
It's the olive in my skin. All that Italian blood from my mother. So I was in Destin, Florida, and then now I'm in Hilton Head Island. So living a nice little post-grad life right now.
Double vacation?
Back to back. Was with the friends in Destin, hopped on the plane, flew to Hilton Head, met the family there. So I'm living nice right now.
Being Mr. Bearcat has its privileges.
Yeah, completely funded by the Mr. Bearcat Award.
Bearcat Air. We've been tracking it. It went to Destin and then went up to there to Hilton Head. Interesting. So you're the guy that's on it. Good job.
Yeah, we need Coach Vic to bring his PJ out for me next time. So I don't have
to. Awesome. Well, should we start from the beginning? When you were in high school, back there at Hilliard Davidson, want to get it right?
Yep, Hilliard Davidson.
Famous running back. I want to take it. 253 yards and 2 touchdowns against Upper Arlington. You finished over 1,400 yards, almost 1,500, 20 touchdowns.
Homework done by Brent Young.
I know.
Every single week.
The old stats up there.
Every single week. But Ryan, tell us, as you're being a star running back, toting the rock, you moved from defense to offense early in your high school career. What was it that kind of led you through the path all throughout high school and then ultimately picking the Bearcats over? I'm sure some other places were telling you to come in and tote the rock for them.
That was back when I played every single snap. So that was back when I was in a lot better shape than I was in Cincinnati. I had a little bit more breaks on the sideline. But, high school, I started off as a cornerback, which people always kind of shake their head at, like, what? Get it? We didn't play a single bit of man, straight drop back, cover 4 defense. So perfect for the non-athletic players at Davidson High School. So then they switched me over to running back, played running back junior, senior year, did very well. We had a very good program, a very good coaching staff, very good players, teammates. It was a lot of fun. And I got some interest from smaller FCS schools, a couple Ivy schools, and then D2s, Patriot League, stuff like that. But I wanted to be an engineer. And so none of those schools really had engineering programs. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go spend like $50,000 a year to not even get a degree I want. So I had some connections with Coach Fickle. What was it? So his dad coached my uncle in wrestling back in high school, and then my grandma worked for Ohio State in the ticketing department, and so she interacted with Coach Fickle. He kind of knew the Royer name, and so then he also, my high school football coach, also coached Coach Fickle back at DeSales. So a bit of a dinosaur there, but so I had all these little like kind of connections where like it gave me a good opportunity for like Coach Fickle and the staff to be like, all right, that'd be a good preferred walk-on guy that we can trust would come in and do what's right. And so, you know, I knew Coach Fick. I knew what he stood for. Like he's a legend in Columbus. And so he was a guy I wanted to play for. And I was like, you know what? I want to be an engineer. Cincinnati has everything I want, has a great coach, and it's starting fresh with what's turned into probably the best program in the country, I think. And I was like, you know what, like, let's just do this. It seemed clear cut right in front of me.
Was there I have to know, was there like a war between you and Kope to see who played running back and who played defense?
No. So Cope, I got there like late in July, and I remember I kind of like went up. It was like they brought all the freshmen in, so like all the walk-ons were mostly got there in June. And so I walked in, and Coach Freeman was like, "Hey, if you want to come to camp, there's a spot open at linebacker." I was like, "Yes, I'll play linebacker. I don't care." But I was like 208 pounds at that point. I was a running back. I had abs. I know that's hard to believe. Granted, seen me the past couple of years. I'm sure Chad could speak on that one. And I was like, you know what? I might get killed for a year, 2, 3, but I want to go to camp and kind of put my name out there and show everyone what I can do.
So take us through then your first camp with Coach Fickle, as we all saw the video of, you know, you guys working out in the snow at what was it, like 6 a.m.
He wasn't here. You weren't here for that,
yeah,
right?
I can't claim that. I wasn't there for attention.
I thought you were there the first.
Attention
year.
training. Attention training was like when Fick got the job.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn, like just missed it.
Yeah, that was like 2-3 weeks after Fick got the job, and everybody got back from winter break, and it was mid-January, and Royer luckily missed that one.
Just missed it.
Yeah, just missed it. But I got to find my first experience with UC football was the wonderful and glorious Camp Higher Ground, and that's not the best. Best way to experience like your first collegiate football experience is lugging out there and roughing it in the bunk beds and stuff, but that first camp, it was crazy because it was kind of like it was kind of nice because I didn't have super high expectations for myself. I was like, I'm not going to know a lot of stuff. I'm just going to go out there and try to kill someone. And I remember it was like literally my first chance. They put me out on like scout punt block. And I was like, all right, like I'm going to kill. And these were like Kamani Fitz, like Joel DeBlanco, like Jalen Minor, if you don't remember those guys.
Oh, man. That was a grown man.
Yeah, so they're back there at Shield, and my little ass is back there just trying to kill them. It probably didn't feel like much. But there's a couple off of them. Yeah, just bouncing off of them, but I was doing what I could. That camp was crazy, though, because Coach Fick and the staff, they were really trying to, like, put their stuff in and, like, put their culture in, which I think is the most important thing that they've done. And so, like, our guys – and I included weren't really used to that. It was like a culture shock, but it was kind of like a whirlwind, getting to learn football and getting to learn a whole new position and stuff. So it was fun, but definitely kind of nerve wracking.
So what are the accommodations at Camp Higher Ground like for a walk-on that joined the team like a week ago?
It's the same, honestly. They treated me the same, but like I didn't really have all like the ins and outs of how things work. So I was asking a bunch of questions to guys like Perry Young, who, if you know Perry Young legend, great guy, deep heart of the South, Birmingham, Alabama. he's talking to you like 1,000 words per second. You don't even know what the hell he's saying. So you're just like, you're just, hey, what do I got to do here? You can't even get out 2 words. You're like, all right, man, thanks. Appreciate it. But it was good. I mean, I was treated like I've told every single person, any wannabe walk on here is you're treated like exactly how everyone else is. So they took care of me. They made sure I knew what was going on and stuff. So it wasn't too much of a learning curve.
Wrap up that whole first season though, because obviously it was
oh my god,
a
hell
doozy compared to the other compared to the other ones. But did you see the buy-in though? Was it kind of like a bright light through the struggles?
Yeah, you could see like the younger guys. There was more buy-in with them. I mean, obviously the older guys bought in and stuff, but like they'd had like 4 years at Tuberville, and so that season, though, it was a struggle. Is like we were being preached to a bunch. Like we kind of like heard the words, but we weren't really living by them. You know, we might repeat them, but we're not really living by them, if you know what I mean. So like Coach Brady and Coach Vic had this great culture laid out for us, you know, but it's hard to get guys to just completely devote themselves to it. So it's kind of like learning and repeating what they said versus actually living by it. And you kind of didn't see a very tight locker room. But you know, we should have won 2 games. I don't know how the hell we won 4. It was miserable because we were working our asses off like harder than anyone, but we just sucked just because like, you know, we weren't playing as a team. We weren't cohesive. We didn't have that brotherhood that you've all come to see the past 3 years, I'd say. And so it was a struggle, but I mean, it was still super fun getting to like meet the guys, and you could feel guys like caring and latching onto the culture. And that was special to be a part of, knowing that you're at the beginning, you're at the start, and you're doing something special, building something up from nothing.
At what point did you and Brady Collins' relationship really start to evolve? Because I can't imagine it was in that first year, but I can't imagine it was also too much longer thereafter.
I mean, yeah, like the first year, you know, kind of like the young guys, you kind of got to earn Coach Brady's respect, as you should. And I was kind of a guy for a lot of the beginning of my career. Like I was just kind of like kept my head down, didn't say much. Just kind of did my thing and worked my ass off. And I think he noticed that. And then like the more we got, I'd say probably going into my second year, he knew I was like a guy that, you know, he could count on to do things right, do the little things. And we kind of had like just that good, like, yes, sir, like I know you're going to get this done relationship. And then I'd say probably going through the season, my second year, I kind of started to open up a little more, kind of be like the jackass that I am. And I think he saw that. He saw potential in a guy he could chop it with and mess around with. And I don't know if there's an exact moment, but there's definitely a lot of things I can think back on of the things and words that have been exchanged between the two of us that would probably get we probably have to do a different show.
We'll have him on for that other show.
Yeah.
All back and forth.
Yeah.
So that first year, you're working your ass off. The results aren't there. You're starting your first year of college, you know, working towards an engineering degree. How many times were you like, what the hell did I do to myself? Like, what have I done?
Honestly, never.
Oh, come on.
No.
Never once.
Never thought about stopping playing. Never thought about changing my major. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm so thankful for it, but I never even considered stopping. I'm a psycho. So I had the vision. Yeah, I had the vision laid out and I wasn't stopping it.
Even after your first mat drills leading into that second
year? God, this is a good story. Mat drill, my first mat drill, I was like, this might be the first time I might not be able to like finish a workout. Because like I said, I'm like 210 pounds. I'm going against like Josiah Degara, Kevin Muhan, Joel, Perry Young, and like mat drills back then, they're not as like crazy. They are still as crazy, but like if you lost, the punishment was worse. So obviously I'm losing every single time and getting dragged off the mat. Coach Freeman's just MFing me, like calling me every name in the book. And like I get up, I had to do 5 up downs. And then by the time I was done with those, I was back up getting dragged off the mat. So it was like 25 straight minutes of hell of me just getting embarrassed. And I remember like on one of my up downs, I'm like, can I even get up? Can I even fathom getting my ass kicked another time? But you just get through it and you kind of just say, I got to do this. Like I might not be winning, but I'm just going to go up there and fight like hell and see what happens.
What was it like working with Freeman? Was it easy to tell right away, like, this guy is going to skyrocket to the top of the profession before I get out of college? Or like, what's that experience like with him as you got to work with him?
You knew Coach Freeman was like a star in the making, and he always told us like he's here, like he wants to coach us, he wants to be here, and you believed him. And I think he told the truth. He basically, I know there had to have been so many different opportunities for him, and he would turn them down because I really think he loved his players. He loved us. We loved him. He made football so much fun. I mean, maybe we weren't getting as much done in meetings sometimes because we were all just like such good friends and so close. And he was always like right in the middle of it. That's what I love so much about him. It's because, like when you're done playing like I am now, like I'm not going to be sitting back thinking about like the defense and like how to make our defense better, which coverages we should have improved on. I'm just thinking back of all the funny jokes, laughs, memories, and stories that we've shared. So Coach Freeman was always in the heart of that. And when a guy is like invested in his players like personalities and their lives and their happiness, that like he'll always find a way to like keep growing. And like you could see now he's at like a blue chip Notre Dame program head coach. I didn't think it was going to happen this fast. I don't think he thought that either. There's no way he thought he was going to be the head coach of Notre Dame this quickly in his career. But I think it's a good testament to the man and the coach he is.
In 4 years, he went from dragging you off the mat at mat drills to the head coach at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he went with dealing with Ryan
rise.
Ryan Royer's crazy, stupid stories to now having to, be on national television and stuff like that, representing the Fighting Irish. So good for him, though. Good for him. I'm happy for him.
Did you give him a point after the game? Like, hey.
Oh, I was trying to find him, but it looked like him and Chad Bowden looked like they were going to cry. So I didn't. I love seeing. Like, I love Chad. Chad's one of my favorite guys I met at UC, but just looking at the look on his face. Yeah, just you're like, yeah, that's what you get, buddy. Enjoy South Bend.
Real quick, I did want to shout out Tonk. Thank you for the donation here in the chat. If you want to donate, you can do that on your YouTube. Just it's down at the bottom underneath the comments. But did want to thank Tonk for that.
Of course.
Roy, you're in the house. So I kind of piggybacking off of Marcus Freeman. Quote unquote, the boys was something that I also read about. Could you
the
kind of the show? Yes, quote unquote,
the show. I gotta get it right.
Can you expand a little bit on the show and
show?
Tell us about the show?
All right. So the origin of the show is like it's like OTAs, which suck. It's like we're in the middle of winter, lifting. Like it's like heavy lifting, like hard workouts. Brady's murdering us. And then we'd go from that onto the field and we'd do like no ball, like indies and 7-on-7s and teams. And then the coaches would leave and we'd take the ball out and like kind of go just player ran stuff. And so this was like 2018. So it's like I said, I'm kind of starting to mess around a little more and like enjoy and like kind of like open up. And so it's like I'm in with the threes and we're doing 7-on and I turned to like Ty Sponseller and Kyle Bolden. I was like, you watch, I'm about to put on an effing show out there. So I go out and like the next play, I just like bat down a like 5-yard out, pick to the flats, and like everyone's just going crazy. I'm like, that's the effing show. Like I told you. And so then literally all of spring ball, it was me, Ty Sponseller and Kyle Bolden. It was like all like the white linebackers were in at once. And we just thought that was so funny. Like the third string, like non-athletic white guys were all in there at the same time. And so we're the show. And so we would like play our asses off and like kind of like just always do the little things. And like Coach Freeman would always like commend us for that. And we told him about the show and he loved it. And he's like, we got to expand the show. We got to get more guys in here. So it kind of turned into like a like unsung like heroes thing of the program. Like guys are on scout team or guys who like don't get reps, but like just are kind of like psychopaths and try to kill someone on every play. The guys who are just always going hard and, you know, doing like living by the program cultures and stuff like that. And we just got the show rolling and like all the coaches heard about it. They loved it. It just turned into a fun little thing for, you know, guys that like might not be like getting all like the limelight on a game day, but we kind of found a way to like enjoy ourselves, kind of make fun of ourselves and, you know, just enjoy football more.
No,
Well,
is that
hand in hand. Well, you have to explain the fan game, but Aaron, go ahead and first. Did you have something?
Well, I was gonna say, is that when you started doing the raise the roof?
Yeah. So I don't know what made me do that, but like there'd be days where I would just kind of like bust out and just make a bunch of plays. And like, for some reason I just picked that. And like all the Coach Mason, he was like big into the raise the roof. He would do it like every 5 seconds. And so it was like this is the show. So anytime like a show guy made a play, like he would do this, then like the whole defense would be like this. The coaches, like it was crazy. Like Coach Freeman, like the D coordinator, like every position coach, every player is doing it. And you're like, this is hilarious. So that's where that came from too.
Can we hear about the fan game? Because I mean, I read about it. It sounds hilarious, and I think
are you just pulling off of Pete Thamel's article?
I am exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, that was like
that was your glow up, the Pete Thamel article.
Yeah, Pete's big time now, Mr. ESPN.
Oh yeah, he's like the big time ESPN insider now. He's the Adam Schefter of college football.
That's what makes my interview with him that much funnier, because it was like before he got to that point and he's like laughing his ass off, writing this stuff down, repeating like, you really did this? Like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And then I see it on Yahoo Sports and I'm like,
put it in the story.
That was like his last, like, I guess you could say small time article before he went big time on us. But the fan, all right. So the fan, it was like winter break, I'd say, going into 2020. So it'd been like 2019 or it might have been 20. And like, I'm at home, you know, we get like a couple days off. So I'm hanging out with one of my back home buddies and like my little brother, who is just even dumber than I am, just to put that into perspective. And like, we're like messing around. Like my friend recently, he was balding at 20. He had to go bald at 20. Tragedy. We lost a brother that quickly.
We've all got one of those.
So he's like, what do you think would happen if I put my bald head like into the ceiling fan? And we're like, it would probably make like a funny ass noise. Do it. And he's like, all right. And so he does it. It's kind of just this funny thing. Then my brother comes and visits one day in the summer when we get back from camp. So, you know, like we're enjoying a couple beverages with like some of the guys and like some people who don't play football. And like, he's like, let's get someone in the fan, like Kent. And so we just start putting people's heads up in the fan, like as like a party trick. And like, it just caught on so fast. Like anyone who sees it, they're like, this is just so absurd. And it sticks with you. And so like, then COVID hits, and so the football guys are basically just hanging out with each other because, like, you know, we didn't want to get COVID and ruin the season. So we're basically all just like boozing it up, like on the weekends after practice, like spring ball. And we're like all stuck in my house, and we have these like 2 ceiling fans, and like, you know, the drinks flow, and you're drinking a little more. You kind of think of some stupid things to do, like let's do the fan, and so we'd have like, I don't know, like 15 guys getting fanned, and like the other like 35 guys are like, yeah, like sitting around. And it was always the fan only came out when one song came on. It was Shipping Up to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys. So that that was like, if you heard that, you're like, all right, get inside. Like the fan's going. So we were like, we had like a fan song. We had like a fan crew. It was just, yeah, it was just
Was
stupid.
Dylan O'Quinn always at the front of the line?
Dylan has definitely lifted a lot of us into it. We got Joey Gray. You know Joey Graver? Remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Big Joey. We got him up. It was on like a Halloween or something. And like, I'm dressed up as a milkman. And like people are in like these stupid costumes. Just imagine like 6 of us looking so stupid. And like big Joey Graver, we're just like slowly lifting him up into the ceiling fan.
Do you have to call Mets? Like, Mets, get down here.
I don't
need some help.
Yeah, we probably should have. Mets is so funny. You see Mets holding a beer in his hand. It literally looks like Boban, the guy in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's like that. It looks like a little kid thing in his hand.
It's like a little like this.
Yeah, it's like his hand's bigger than the can. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
So
Fantastic.
So we'll steer back to football for a little bit. The stories are much better. The stories are much better. But we got to weave. We got to bob and weave.
Yeah. I'm good.
When did you realize, like, I think I can get on the field? Like, it might be special teams, it might whatever it is. But when did that light kind of start shining through that, you know what? I've made enough of an impact that I think I can get on the field and help this team.
I'd say like started with workouts. I was like, okay, like I'm athletic enough, I'm strong enough as like a lot of the guys here where I can like compete and hold my own. Go to camp and like I'm like, all right, I don't really know what's going on that much, but I'm learning quickly. I'm picking up on the defense quicker than some of the other guys, and like I'm just playing really physical and like just give me an off season. I can like get my body better, gain some weight. And so then like on scout team, I was just like, there'd be times where like I'd get got and like I'd get killed. And there's times I would do the killing myself. And I'm like, okay, if I can do this to some of like these like 1s and 2s, if I can like, hold my own and like kind of lay the wood a little bit sometimes, like I think I can like find a way to do that in drills. And so then going into my second year, I was like a very established guy, like work hard, like play hard guy, and with scout team and with workouts. And I was like, you know what, like I can really make a push here this year to like get on the 2 deep for special teams. And that's exactly what happened. I ended up on a 2 deep for KOR and kickoff and punt block. So I was a 2 on all those. And there's like, I actually got to start on kickoff versus Tulane my second year. And that was good. But of course I was double teamed the whole time, so I didn't get any chances. Coach Mason was like,
they knew.
They knew. Like it was Alec like twisted his ankle and I went in for him, and Coach Mason's like, this is your chance. They're like, this is your chance. We're like, yes, let's go. I'm getting freaking double teamed at the 40-yard line by the Tulane.
They thought you were Pierce. They didn't know it.
I know.
They had this.
I was a white guy. I was another white guy, but I was just probably 6 inches shorter, like probably 0.3 to 0.4 seconds slower on the 40. We'll say 0.3 to make myself feel better.
Give or take.
Yeah.
One of the bigger games you got in that season was in the bowl game, and that was kind of a Birmingham Bowl was a little crazy one with the long weather delay and kind of everything like that. Give us the player perspective when you guys are all kind of just sitting in the locker room trying to figure out what's going on. And then were you one of the guys that kind of riled everybody up to go back out on the field?
Like I remember that game. It was just, it was like really unique with the thing. And like, I remember like John Cunningham was like, Coach Vic, you sure you want to play? Like, you sure want to do this? And he's like, we're after playing this. We're playing this MFer. And we're like, yeah, let's go. Like, of course we were. But that was like 15 minutes into the delay. So we're all like, let's go. Yeah, it's time. Like, they're not going to be ready for us. And then it's like 45 minutes go by. Like, all right. We're sitting here like 45 minutes. And then Coach Vic, I remember he came back in. He was like, all right, it's effing go time now. Like, we're playing this MF. We got such and such minutes to warm up. Like, we're going to, like, just insert any cuss word every 2 words like Coach Vic. And so we go out there, and, like, you could just tell immediately that Boston College, 1, wasn't as good as us, and 2, didn't want to be there and was not nearly as physical as we were. So it was like, but then by the second quarter, we're like, all right, we're going to destroy these guys. And, like, that's what we did. Thankfully, you know what happens when we destroy teams? I get to play. So I'm sitting there like, keep it up, boys. Let's go. keep killing them. I give me a couple reps. I got a whole off season of no football. So
almost time for the show, baby.
I know. I think I went in for like 3 kickoffs, but they're all touchbacks. So God bless our kicker. But it was still fun. It was good. It's always good to get in, even if you're running 60 yards for no contact. It's rewarding.
Sure. So when did Brady start doing the squat fest with you guys?
Oh, I want to say it was I think it was winter. It was either winter or spring of 2018. He started Squat Fest, but as you know, Coach Brady, everything's got to be bigger and better. Every year, got to be bigger, got to be better. Oh, it's going to be so crazy, And so, like, Squat Fest then, it was just kind of like a really intense workout where we maxed out. It wasn't like the lights, the DJ, the decorations, like the craziness. It was more of just like, all right, like, we're maxing out squat and we're going to kill you today. And it was just super intense. And then, Coach Brady, he's like super good at like, making things really fun and like innovating like new ways to make workouts fun but still like make sure we get the work in. And so each year it was like, all right, now we got a DJ, and then now we got like all these lights. Now we got like this crazy workout where we're doing stations and like
get the rope.
Yeah, the rope. Yeah. And all that. And so, yeah, I think it was either winter or spring of 2018 we started Squat Fest.
Don't lie. Everybody's favorite part of Squad Fest, player-wise, is the beat the hell out of the punching or the bags that have the opponents taped to them. You guys are flying off the top rope. You're doing Macho Man, like or Hulk Hogan leg drops, Macho Man elbow drops. Like, that's everybody's favorite spot.
Of course. And there's another quick story. I think it was either last year's or the year before. Like, everyone, you got to like, someone's got to do something like funnier or crazier than someone else. So it was like Joel to Blanco and like one other guy in the linebacker room. Like, in our weight room, we got like the upstairs where you can look down.
Yeah.
The Joel like takes the dummy all the way up there, like throws it off the ledge and like runs back down, like jumps on it. And like, it was like, Jim Rodenberg, he was so mad at Joel. I don't know why. He thought it might have been dangerous, but he was like, you're a sixth year and you're acting like an effing idiot. Like, what are you doing? Grow up. And it was so funny because like he's getting ripped and like we're all like laughing about it because we all told him to do it. So
all good fun. All good fun.
Yeah,
but you won the Iron Bearcat Award, right, in 2018. Kind of just describe what that is and kind of your feelings after you were given it.
Oh, yeah. So the Iron Bearcat is, I'd say it's like the highest honor to be given like on our team in terms of like representing the culture on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, and, just kind of being like, you've heard about the play hard mentality where it's like, all gas, no brakes. Like, you don't relent, you don't stop, you don't brother-in-law, you don't like do any of that stuff, and kind of just carrying yourself and holding yourself to like the highest standard of the program. And I remember we did like a little spring retreat to higher ground. God bless the coaches for that. We were dying to get back there in the spring, and that's where they did it. And I had to get back home. I don't remember what I had to do, but I was like, Coach Freeman, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. Like, I have to like get home. I have to do this thing that like I can't miss. And he's like, no, you have to go. Like, just come on. Like, you can make it work. I'm like, all right. So I kind of moved some things around to make sure I was there. And it was turned out because they gave me the award. And I remember I was sitting there and Coach Brady was kind of like talking and like, this doesn't have to be like an award, like given to like a starter or guys who play a lot of snaps. Like, this could be guys on scout team. And like, I remember I wasn't even really like, it wasn't really clicking to me like, oh, that could be me. And then he just says my name and I'm just like, what? Like, really? Like, all right. And then like went up and got it. And how I kind of talked about how that's where I kind of starting to realize like my impact and like how I can like help this team and contribute. And it was like getting that award and like it like had a lot of momentum for me going through like being able to get on special teams and gain the respect of the team and the coaches. It was like a very good like signal, like, all right, you've gotten this respect. Your work is noticed. And like, it was good to see that and just made me want to do more because that's the kind of person I am.
Take us back to, first off, were you on the travel squad for the Rose Bowl?
Yep. That was my first time traveling.
Take us through that entire experience as a team and what that meant at the end of that game. The final horn sounds and you guys beat UCLA at the Rose Bowl after a season where you talked about you probably should have won 1 or 2 games and you won 4. It was hard on everybody. Was there this universal like look of, you know what, we can be pretty good? Like, this isn't last year's. This isn't Tommy Tuberville's Cincinnati Bearcats. This is the Luke Fickell era. This is the start.
Yeah. So like through that whole year, it kind of like the first year, like we were being preached to, and we're like, we trusted them, we trusted our staff, we trusted like the culture, and we just hadn't really bought in super. We hadn't like clicked super well with us yet, and like all that pain, all that like the losing, the embarrassment, getting your butts kicked, getting ran off the field, you're like that. You're just thinking about that all off season, and of course you're being reminded about it too by the strength guys, the coaches, and it's like this fuel in the fire. And we're like, we got UCLA. It's going to be a Power 5 school. We're going to their place. Like, this is like the perfect opportunity for us to show like ourselves. We didn't really even care about like anyone's opinion. It was like, this is like to show ourselves what all what we've done, how much we've changed, how much this program has changed, and how its trajectory has changed. And we're going to do that versus UCLA. So it was like even the first year, like we were working our asses off. Like it's not like we weren't like putting in the work. Like, we were working hard. We were just getting killed though. So it's like, we knew we had a whole year of hard work and like this learning the system, the culture, weights, and all that. We carried that through the whole offseason. Coach Brady is like, and it was always like, and everything we're doing here, it's gonna be put on display at UCLA and in the Rose Bowl. We're gonna go in and we're gonna win. So we believed we were gonna win that game all off season, all of camp, all the way up till the kick. And being there and like doing it, it almost felt like a mini Super Bowl for us. Even though it's like the first game of the season, it was like we've done so much, we've changed so much, we've adopted this amazing culture way better than we did the year before. Like, we need this and we're gonna go do it. And like when we won the game, it almost felt like we won like a championship, like we won the conference, but it was just the first week. But everyone's like celebrating, and like I remember like Coach Fickell and Coach Brady like hugged each other, like because like they're like, yeah, they're like, he's like, I think Coach Brady's like, we did it, like, and he was like, Coach was like, yeah, we effing did it, because we did. It was like that was like our first like stamp of approval, like this, everything we're doing works, like this staff works, like this is the right thing to be doing. And it was just awesome. And it was like so much momentum for our program. Like that win, I think, pushed us through that first season, and that first season guided us through the next, and then now we're in the college football playoff. So it was big. It meant a lot to the players and the staff.
How much does it mean as a player? There was a lot of talk about this after that game. Coach Vic going for it on 4th down, and like as much trust as he was putting in you guys, where they weren't trying to be cute. They weren't trying to overthink it. We're giving the ball to Mike Warren. We're running right down your throat. We're scoring this touchdown, and we're winning the game. How much does that energize a team? How much does that further your belief in the staff that they believe in us? So now we're going to even more buy into what they're telling us because it's reciprocated. It's not one way. They're not asking for something out of us that they're not willing to reinvest back into us, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, but no one was surprised on the sideline. Like before they even made the decision, I mean, everyone's like, go for it, go for it, go for it. Because like I said, it was like we were like way more immersed in this culture, and like everyone wanted to go for it. No one was surprised we went for it. We knew before that Coach Vic believed in us. We knew Coach Vic was going to do that. We knew we were going to run the ball right at him, and we knew we were going to get it. And we're like before the play, we're like, we need 2 yards. Yeah, run the fuck. Sorry, my bad. Run the ball.
You can cuss all you want on this.
Okay.
There's no rating on this podcast. You can
no
say whatever you want.
Coming here.
So run the damn ball.
Brady cusses on this podcast all the time. So
all right, all right, fine. I got you. And so we ran it, we got it. No one was surprised. We're like, yeah, that's what we do. Like, this is us. This is Cincinnati football. This is what you're going to see every week, and we're going to go for it. We're going to run the ball at you, and we're not worried about it one bit. And we loved it. We weren't surprised though. We knew we were going to do it.
I tried to go chronological. I got a little bit too excited and sprung all the way to the Boston College.
Yeah, you're the one that told us to go chronological.
I know. I just took ownership of it because I was excited to hear that story. I mean, and they beat Virginia Tech that year in the bowl game, Military Bowl. We all know that. That was a good win. That was a good.
Hayden Moore
coming in.
That's a great story. It's such a great story.
Oh yeah, big time win there. But kind of what was the feel? Obviously, we've mentioned the offseason in between that 18 to 19 year. But heading into that 19 year, did you guys kind of have that feeling of, okay, we can probably compete for a championship right now? Because obviously in 18 it was that tough game at the bounce house at UCF, and then probably one of the bigger memories would be at home, nip at night, Friday Night Lights when UCF comes back in, and kind of just talk about first that trip to the bounce house, college game day at UCF. It had to be a little crazy down there, but of course that return trip, UCF comes into town, and one of the better games over this crazy historical run.
Yeah, so first on the bounce house, like not even close, the craziest, loudest game day experience I've ever probably. Well, I mean, the playoff was a little bit different, but that was like growing up, I was fortunate to go to like some cool college football games. Growing up in Columbus, like my grandma worked for the university, so I got to go to like some cool games at Ohio State where like primetime night games, like 100,000 people. I've been to like the Big House in Michigan, and like that stadium holds like half as much, but it was just like astronomically louder, crazier. Like that's what I felt when we were at our conference championship this past season. Like that's the kind of vibe, like that's the vibes it was given. But that was crazy. You know, we were not ready for that. I think they kind of like that environment we were not ready for. And it kind of showed like, all right, like we still got a lot, like we were way more improved, but we're not there yet. Like it was a good test for us, a good litmus test to show like, yeah, like we're winning games, but you know, we're not like where we were this past season. And then carrying that through when they came here at Nip at Night, like that was so much fun. It was like the calm. It was like, this is what this city will do for a team that like wins and like puts on like plays hard and plays for their city, and seeing that, like, it still gives me chills thinking about it, like, especially on Ahmad's pick six. It's just like, as a player, you're like, this is what you play for. Like, you play for moments like this where, like, you got 40,000 sold out stadium just screaming and hollering, rooting you on, because they recognize how far you've came and where the program's at and how big of a game that is because of all the improvements that we've made. And it was awesome getting to get the victory, rushing the field, all that. It was like, this is what Cincinnati football is going to be. Like, this is the new standard. And like, it just made you hungrier, made you same thing after that first year. It's like, once you win, like, you don't ever want to lose again. It's like when you're like 11-3 or 11-2, I'm sorry, and you get that taste of winning, like, you're like, I can never go back to being 4-8 ever. Like that. Yep. That it's terrible. And so it just like made us expect more of ourselves and like expect to win every week. And that's what we did that third year until we kind of ran into Memphis, the heartbreak there. It's hard to talk about, but no, it's, kind of going to the bounce house, getting your ass kicked, tucking your tail, coming in the next year. They come in, we kind of give it right back to them. We show them what Nip at Night is really like. And I think now the whole country kind of knows about that. So
take us through the sidelines on that pick six from Ahmad. And you still call him Ahmad. I noticed no sauce from you. He's still Ahmad to Ryan.
Never's been sauce, never will be. I just feel weird. I feel weird calling another grown man sauce. I don't know what it is. It's just something.
That's fair.
Just something. And for me, like, he was always younger than me. And like, that was my thing, is like, I don't care how good you are, bro. I'm not calling you sauce. Like, you're a freshman. Like, you're going to be Ahmad. Even if you are the best player to ever play for Cincinnati, you're still Ahmad, bro. I'm sorry. That's kind of like the joke.
That's been my stance, Royer. He's the most dominant Bearcat of all time, because what he did is impossible to do.
A third
he took
of the
away
field,
an entire side of the field, completely. It's out. You can't. Over here doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I always laughed. You'll be able to speak on this more than most. It wasn't that teams, for the longest time, they wanted to throw at him. They just didn't, because there was never the space to do it. Like, when did you realize, oh my God, this guy's game changing, like on a level that we might not ever see at Cincinnati again?
I don't think we ever will. I mean, I think it's special. And Ahmad is a great person too. Like, everything he got, everything he did, he worked his ass off for, always carried himself exceptionally well. Always a guy that would, like, me and him would chop it up, have a great, like, it wasn't like he was just a football robot. Like, he's just a fun, hardworking, good ass guy. And I'm so happy for him. But what I think would happen is, like, teams would be like, oh, we're going to throw on this guy. We got a guy. We got our guy. Like, let's take him at him. Then by like the end of the first quarter, it'd be like, all right, that's done. Like, and I think by about like probably a third of the way through the year, they're like, all right, like, let's not waste our time and game plan the boundary. Like, let's game plan the field. There's a lot more space. It probably makes more sense.
Let's put our tight end over, like our blocking tight end over there. Like, let's put our. There have been coaches on the record that have been like, we would put our slapdick worst wide receiver out there on him because we knew we weren't throwing to that guy anyway. Yeah. So just put him out there and worry about it some other time. I mean, just as a defense, the luxury. Like, I've said this, and it's going to happen, Ryan. Somebody's going to complete like a 30, 40-yard pass to the boundary this coming season, and everybody's going to freak out because it hasn't happened for 3 years. Everybody's going to be like, what the hell is happening? Fire the defensive coordinator.
I know.
This is ridiculous.
I will also say it also goes to show how special, like, Kobe, Arquan, and like our field safety, like Javon, like that, like being like put like literally like 95% of the pass concept is on you guys, like at all times. And the fact that they let up like that little production still, when it's like the magnifying glass is on you every single passing down. Like, I think that just speaks volumes and shows how great of players they are, how prepared they are. And so I commend those guys for sure. And you'll see, like, they're all going to be rewarded with, I think, good amounts of money in the NFL. So I'm super happy for them too.
But back to the original question. Sideline, gets that pick six.
Mayhem. I remember I was like right by Freeman, and Mike Mickens is the corners coach. And like Freeman just like he like Mickens is like over here, and Freeman just like looks at him like, wow, like mouths wow, like eyes wide. Because Ahmad's a freshman, and like he wasn't really supposed to play because we knew he was good. It was like it was like basically kind of like, all right, Cam Jefferson's the senior. He's a little banged up. Like, if Ahmad gets a chance and goes and takes the position, like, that's what will happen. And literally, that's exactly what happened. Cam literally got a pick that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. He got the interception. Yeah, huge return. And he ended up getting banged. Like, his back was bothering him that whole year. So he was banged up. They put Ahmad in, and Ahmad gets the pick six. And it's like, all right, like, that is the guy now. Like, you're not, like, you do something like that. No, and that's exactly what happened. He started the rest of the year, had the pick six versus ECU to save the season at that point. And that, I mean, but the sideline, like, it was like pandemonium. It's like craziness. You know, you're running around like screaming, jumping, hugging like some of the guys near you, like going crazy. Like I said, I got to see like that moment with Freeman and Mickens, which is pretty cool. Kind of to see a coach. It's hard. You don't really. There's not a lot of moments like that because these coaches have been around. They've seen a lot of things. They've played with a lot of great players, and like see Coach Freeman kind of react like that. I was like, all right, yeah, that was insane. Like, this kid's the real deal.
I called it right before the snap. I said Sauce pick six.
Yeah.
To Brandon Sosna. Like, we were standing right there in the end zone. And I looked at Brandon right before the snap. I said, Sauce pick six right here. And he looked at me like, shut up. Well, because Brandon, who, you know, worked in the NFL with the Browns.
Yeah.
The first day he walked into Higher Ground and saw Sauce, he said, that's a star. And I said, come on, man. He's 140 pounds soaking wet. Like, he's like, look, man, that's what you look like in the NFL. Like, that long, rangy, just fluid. His body was so smooth. He's like, that's the next star here. And we were like, come on, man, shut up. Like, whatever. And then right before the snap, I said, Sauce pick six. And when it happened, he just looked at me and shook his head. He's like, I told you. He's like, that's why I worked in the NFL.
Yeah, he tried to steal your thunder there. It's like, you made the call, then he tried to take it his way, man.
Oh, that was between me and Brandon. I've known Brandon since he was a ball boy for Mick when he was like 12. So I've known him since he was like 11, 12 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
So we had that back and forth where we could mess with each other. But I mean,
didn't Jim Kelly call like the turnover too on the play-by-play?
He might have. He might.
I thought he said some like Bearcats turnover like right when the drive started.
Before, yeah. Well,
and then he's in the background like, yes. I love that. Like, that.
Well, they say like 17 yeses or something like that.
Yeah. Because I always love like when like the play-by-play guy like is announcing it, and then the color guy next to him
is losing his mind,
screaming, yes. I love that. I listened to that so many times. It's
between great. Jim Kelly and Dave Lapham, we have like the two best anywhere here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, those are two. That's the beauty of it. Those are two guys. Dave Lapham's is invested in the Bengals as anybody's.
Yeah.
Mike Brown might not be more invested in the Bengals than Dave Lapham is. And Jim Kelly, as you know, the history with his dad, there's Cincinnati doesn't mean more to anybody than it does Jim Kelly. So to him to get to experience all this, we've had him on multiple times because he's the
I love
best.
Jim. Jim's reached like that's what I love about Jim is that a guy like me, he would like recognize like the things I've done, and he'd talk to me in person, reach out to me, and he would just tell me like thank you for all you've done, and like I always like really appreciated that, like a guy kind of like taking time like that to reach out to like a guy like me who's not super like well known, not like out there doing a bunch of like things that he's gonna have to comment on the radio. But I always loved Jim for that, and I'm thankful I got to meet him.
He's the best.
Real quick, I did want to just interject that I see about a dozen of you knuckleheads on Twitter watching along with us. If you do hop on YouTube or on Twitch, you can join in the conversation here in the chat. And it also helps out Bearcat Journal without you spending a penny. So please help us out with that.
There you go. So you mentioned Ahmad's, I'll call him Ahmad with you. Oh, Sauce. You mentioned Sauce's other
Thanks,
pick six. Yeah, at ECU. Now, yes, that was awesome. Saved the season, saved the game. But the story of that is the post-game celebration in the locker room, the gift of all gifts that came out of that. First, talk about that game. Kind of just, I mean, ECU, small but mighty crowd. Would you say is a good way to put it?
Yeah, they're that like if they were playing for a conference championship, that I can't even imagine having to go into that. It's probably just like as crazy as Nippert is. Like teams would always talk about like Nippert was like nuts. It was like very hard place to play. And we'd go to ECU, it'd be like 60% full. And they're like, Pirates, like screaming. And like, you're like, this place is nuts. And like that game, which is just like it's just a crazy game because you got, what's his number 5? Is his name Williams? I don't know.
The wide receiver that had
wide receiver.
Had
30
like
catches.
500 yards or whatever. Him and then Ehlers, which we knew was we knew he was talented. He was a good quarterback, but we didn't know he was going to be playing like Ben Roethlisberger plus John Elway, Joe
out of
Montana.
his mind.
Like literally rolling left, getting hit left, and then throwing across his body with his left to the right in a window, like in between two defenders to number 5. And it was just like, it's like these guys are doing they're making every play, like everything's going their way. They're winning. They're running Philly special. They're doing everything, and I'm like, we're gonna fucking lose. Like at that, there was a point in the game we were down 14, and what was it like? The beginning of the fourth quarter, and they're marching down the field to score again. Ehlers is out of his mind. And then Ahmad just steps up and gets the pick 6, and you're like, and then not only that, he just outruns everyone, and he's just like gliding down the sideline. You're like, all right, this guy he's a freak too. And we're just like, all right, he literally just saved the season because that game, it was like if there was a game we're gonna lose, to be that one. It's like everything, we're not playing well. They're playing the best they played probably ever in my 5 years there playing against them. They played their best game. Everything's going their way. Unbelievable throws. Yeah. It was like they were Alabama. And
CJ Johnson, by the way, is that wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnson. Sorry. I should have known. I heard his name like 50 times that game.
All right.
But the post game.
Oh yeah, and then that just sets like winning that. We're all like, how the fuck do we win this game? Like we're all like going nuts. Like yeah, like everything because we knew it was on the line. Like it was the end of the year. Like we have to win these games because we want to play for the conference championship. We want to go to a New Year's Six bowl, and we're like, all right, like we just saved our asses. Like we're like jumping up and down like little kids. I remember DeMarco Baker. Chad, you might remember him. Do you remember number 40? Yep. DeMarco?
Yep.
Like, I just remember on the pick 6, me and him are like looking at each other. We just lock eyes. We just start hugging and jumping up and down like little kids. And then we go in the locker room and like we're just like going ape shit. And Coach Fick, you know, he's got a good like pulse on the room. Like he knows his team and like he knows how to like have fun. He just comes in and like we're just like jumping around. He just comes in the middle of it, just grabs the rafters, just and like we're all there. We got our phones out. We're like recording the whole thing, and it's like the greatest thing ever. And so then it was just like after that, whenever we went there, we would start grabbing like in anticipation for him because it was like it was just like you said, it's like the best gif ever. It's like the best memory, like the best locker room celebration I've ever seen out of a head coach. Like that is just, there's nothing super crazy about it, like nothing super talented. He's not doing any dancing or anything, but it's just like the sheer raw like craziness of him that's just so funny.
It's the most football guy thing ever, right? To jump up,
Yeah.
grab the rafters, and start screaming at the top of your lungs.
Swing, yeah. It's authentic. It's real. It's real. Like that's It's not a show. Like that's Coach Vic, like just being like us, like celebrating with his team and being one with his team, and we love that. And it's such a good memory.
All right, we're already at an hour, so you're on vacation. We don't want to.
Oh, I got nothing to do. Don't worry about me.
Look, man. We've gone almost 3 hours with this podcast before. Don't
good.
encourage us.
Send it.
Let's jump ahead to 2020.
Well, before that, Chad, Mr. Royer received something pretty special right after the season before 2020 came, didn't you?
Yeah, I was put on scholarship going into my junior year. That was awesome. Like I said, I remember like my first year, like, and I was kind of like killing it on scout team, and Coach Freeman's like, you keep doing this, like you're going to be on scholarship. And I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be cool. Like, cause when I came, I was like, my goal was to like try to get on the field and get a scholarship by my 5th year. And like, that was my expectations for myself. And kind of I was like, all right, well, this process has been expedited quite rapidly. When Freeman was telling me about scholarship and I was playing my 2nd year, I was like, well, I'll probably get a scholarship soon. I don't know. Like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I didn't really know how it worked. I didn't really know like how they went about it. I was just got done. Literally the story is so funny. It was spring ball, and like my famous blitz, which is main, where like I just run up the middle and try to just kill the quarterback.
Like your hair's on fire.
Yeah. So I'm running through, and I'm scot-free. I'm gonna go hit. It was either, I don't know if it was Dez or I don't remember. I wasn't gonna hit him, but I was gonna tag off on him. And then like out of my peripheral, like Jared Dokes, which is one of the biggest, strongest running backs I've ever seen or played against, just like comes out of nowhere and just cracks me right in the side of the head. And we kind of just like both like look at each other for a second, like that hurt. Like we just hit each other in the head so hard. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So the next play, I was done. I go to the sideline and I'm kind of like looking, and like my vision's like blurry. I can't really read anything I'm like trying to read, and like the letters are like moving up and down. I'm like, well, this isn't good. So I go up to Aaron. I'm like, Aaron, I can't read very well. I just got hit in the head. He's like, all right. And he like gives me all these tests. He's like, we don't seem to have a concussion. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I finished practice, CTE land. just doing everything by the book there. And so I'm like, by the time Coach Vic calls us up, I'm just like kind of like, oh geez, I just need to get ibuprofen and go to bed. And so then Coach Vic comes up to me. He's like, hey, come out to my office after practice. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like showering up, getting changed, feeling like shit, like head hurts so bad, very out of it. I go up there. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, well, Ryan, we're going to put you on scholarship. And I'm like, I'm just in pain and exhausted. I'm like, really? I was like, really? I was like, thank you so much. Like, that's awesome. Like, yeah, we don't want to make a big show of it, but you deserve it. Like, thank you so much for what you do. I'm like, thanks. And I'm just kind of like out of it. I just take the paper, go home, fall asleep, wake up, call my mom and dad, a couple of my coaches from high school. And I remember I told my dad, I was like, I fucking told you, like, I was going to do this shit. Like, I did it, like, did it way faster too. Like, basically, like, fuck yeah. Me and my dad just kind of sat there on the phone, like, yeah, you did. So it was super cool. And then, just kind of like helping the team out the next 2 years after that, just trying to keep earning keep my scholarship up so I don't fall victim to hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. You know, the great American trap, college debt.
You put your body on the line to
Yeah.
make sure that you got 2 free years of college.
I still got like freaking $60,000 to pay off. So
I'm sure. Yeah. You didn't get it all free. You just got the end free.
Yeah, the end. It's like, wow, I would have really been screwed if I didn't get this. So thank you, Coach Fickle. Thank you. I'll have my debt paid off when I'm 50, not when I'm 70. So I appreciate it.
How cool is it to you guys? He doesn't make a big deal out of it. It's like pulling teeth to get him to tell us what walk-ons are on scholarship, what walk-ons aren't on scholarship. Like, for whatever reason, he likes to keep that in-house and keep it special, that relationship between him and the individual player that's happened.
Yeah, because he doesn't want it like he doesn't want you to feel like it's like anything different than what you've already done. You know, like you're being given this because you deserve it, and it's because you do. We're not going to celebrate you and treat you any differently. Like, you've earned this because of your work ethic. You've set yourself apart from the other walk-ons, from other guys on the teams. Like, you deserve this, and we're not going to make a big hoopla about it because you're just going to go about your business. Like, I know you will, because if he's given a walk-on a scholarship, he knows we don't give two shits about being paraded around in front of the media or the team. It's just all right, I earned this, and I'm going to keep earning it, and thank you, and let's get back to work. And that's the kind of man Coach Fick is too. So we don't we like it that way. He likes it that way, and I think it makes it better.
All right, let's get into the COVID year. The hardest thing you guys have ever gone through. As a player, I can't imagine field, locker room, dorm room. Basically, that's it. Your complete life is shut off. You don't want to be the one that was responsible. I won't name names, but there was one time, there was somebody that was pretty identifiable as to what had happened. That had to be amongst the older guys, especially. Look, we're having a special season. Don't screw this up. What was it like? That whole, higher ground was completely shut off. You guys were in a 100% in a bubble. That season, having games canceled and just the over, from a 10,000 feet, what was that experience working through that and still being able to have the success that you guys had?
Yeah, so it all started when we're at higher ground. Things are getting shut down. We don't know what's going on, and some guys were kind of what are we still doing here? We're not even gonna play. And so it was navigating through that, and Coach Fick was really he wanted to make sure we were all on the same page, and if you wanted to we had to choose we talked 2 separate times as a team and about what we're gonna do and if we feel safe and all that crap. So we're we meet as a team, and Coach Fick's basically all right, if you want to go home, we'll pack up your stuff. We'll have a bus waiting outside for you to go home. And so you're any intelligent person would be okay, I feel he really doesn't want us to go home. We're not going home. It is a career suicide if you go home. And that was, I think, it's so funny. Marcus Brown, Big Brown, he packed up his stuff because he was worried. He had some underlying, he was worried about his asthma, which is fair. And, everyone's different. But he packs up his stuff, gets on the thing. He gets to Clifton. He comes back, and then he's what did I just do? I just made a terrible mistake. He calls Coach Fickle. He's can I come back? Please, Coach, I'm so sorry. They let him come back, and it was just because it's Brown. Brown. It's just hilarious. But I remember there's kind of like this movement on the guy. There's like a kind of this momentum of like guys really not knowing what to do. And I don't know why, but I just texted Coach Fick one night at Higher Ground. I was like, hey, can I meet with you? And let's talk about what's going on. And like we like sat down in the barn. It was just me and him. And I was like, we're not fucking leaving here. And he's like, I know, like we're not fucking leaving. And I was like, that's what we're gonna. I told him, I was like, I'm gonna make sure like nobody leaves here. Like we're putting this shit behind us. And me and him just kind of like just shot the shit on that for I don't know about 30 minutes, just like getting the pulse of the team and like how we think we should go about like navigating this, player coach type thing. I really appreciated that because I just had a lot on my chest. Like, hey, coach, like I know I'm not like, Dez or any of these guys, but like I want you to know that like I speak for a lot of guys here. I think I have a good read and I think I have a good vision on what we need to do, and we're not fucking leaving. If we leave, like it'll ruin any chance of us being good this year. And he completely agreed. And then he kind of just said, yeah, if you want to leave, get out. Like we'll move on and we're going to prepare ourselves to win games. And so we go about that. And we're getting tested like every single day. But like we just kind of got used to it. We're like, we want to play. Like we have a great team. We can go win every game on our schedule. That's what we want to do. Like we don't want to let this virus like take that away from us. And so we went and we did all the fan was born during this COVID season. So good things did come out of it outside of just, like I said, we were just always around each other. And by this point we had a really tight bond and that just made it stronger. Like we, you can't go out after games or like before the season. You can't go out to the bars with other people. You can't do this and that. So we're just like, you know what? We're going to hang out with each other. Like we like hanging out with each other. Like that's fine. We don't care. Like we want to win games. So we did. Where I live, we had this really nice backyard. Guys just over. Because it's not all like college isn't all football. We got to have fun and like unwind and relax with each other. I think that's important for a team is to be able to like hang out and have memories outside of the field in the locker room. That's what we did. And like we did that and we went in the season. We just kicked ass because we're like, then we had the one outbreak, but like, you could kind of see how we were rusty versus Tulsa. But even then, like we kind of just that's just like the culture we have. We just kind of like embraced it and the best of it and figured out ways to win. And that's what we did all season, not just on the field, figuring out ways to beat the virus, beat the protocols, and, take care of business. And it was still so fun. I mean, we missed the fans. I mean, even though what was there? They said there was 5,000 there for the championship. There had to have been at least 12. They had to lie. But the thing was, like, 12,000 people, like that was like the crowd you'd see sometimes when we were 4-8, and like just hearing them, how loud, how much is louder, and how much more of an impact they made when we didn't have fans all year. It was just like a very good like highlight back. Like we went through this whole year, and now we get like about like 10 to 12,000 people are here to watch us win this championship. Just hearing how loud and passionate all those fans were winning that championship, despite all the bullshit that happened with COVID. It was super special. And then, getting our hearts ripped out in the Peach Bowl, but
that we learned that COVID was just like spring break, because sometimes you go to Orlando and you come back with the contagious disease.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is a hotbed. I went there this spring break.
That's what happened though. You guys went to Orlando, you came back, and like 4 days later.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about when the outbreak that cost you a couple games was right after a trip to Orlando, just like spring break.
Whatever happened to Fort Lauderdale, though, you just sold yourself out, man.
Yeah. Cat's out of the bag on
Things
that.
happen. Things happen. If you've never been to Lauderdale for spring break, you'd know.
Let's go to a question. Redirect, save you here. You still wish you would have gotten a piece of Nebraska that season?
Yes, 100%. I was so disappointed. It was kind of like, it wasn't the same like magnitude as UCLA, but it was kind of like we just love those moments where like we got to go into someone's stadium, a Power 5 stadium, great environment, and go like kick ass. And like I wanted to play them. We would have won. I know we would have won that game, and it would have been great to be able to, showcase that for ourselves and then for the country, because it would have been a nationally televised game, and that
Sure.
environment's probably super crazy getting to experience that. So it was a bummer we didn't get to play, but.
And this is one that always comes up. Favorite food at Higher Ground. What was your favorite dish at Higher Ground? I only got to come out for lunch. So the chicken sandwiches, the Monterey Ranch chicken
I was going to say
sandwiches.
that is so good. The croissant with the bacon ranch. It's
Yep.
just not beatable. But then there's like we have like a surf and turf night where they give us like fried shrimp and ribeye. That's pretty good. And you can't forget the apple. What is that? The apple ice cream thing.
Oh yeah, the ice. Yeah.
That's what is that thing called?
I don't
it's like
know.
The apple. It's heaven.
The Bearcat bars, you can feel yourself getting fatter as you eat it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would literally.
So good.
Yeah, I would gain weight at camp sometimes because I would just eat so much, even though like the food, like it's good food. I mean, it's maybe not the healthiest for an athlete, but I would eat it.
You guys are out there burning all the. It's like the Michael Phelps thing, right? Where he had to eat 10,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Because of how many calories he was burning. You guys are out there, and people don't realize like, you're not just out there for practice in the morning. Like you're back out on the field for walkthrough. You got to get a lift in.
Yep.
It's not just go through 2 hours of practice. There's much more to it when you guys are out there.
7 a.m. to 9 p.m. straight. We get we eat lunch for an hour. We break for an hour and a half. Then we're either right to the lift or right to the meeting. Then we switch. And like, there's something to say. Like, if you're not working out, like even the walkthrough, like jogging, but your mind's like locked in, and you're just like standing there, like it exhausts you. And so every single night, I'm like, do I want to watch a Netflix movie or like feel like a normal person, or do I just want to go right to bed and just be a robot? So it was always that
do it
battle.
all over again.
Yeah, I was like, I want to have at least 2 hours where I'm alive, and then before I switch back into the trance at 7 a.m. But
So talk about the close of 2020. Obviously, you guys do win the championship, the AAC championship, take down Tulsa. When supposedly some teams were ducking smoke throughout the season, you guys were able to kind of shut the door on that one. But and then of course the Peach Bowl. You had to go in depth about that, but how cool that big of a setting. And then what was kind of the feel amongst the team once that kick did go through the uprights, that 53-yarder by Georgia, and then kind of leading into this past season, which was the best season in football history.
Yeah, so COVID, it kind of like ruined the whole bowl experience too, because we didn't get to go there for the whole week. We show up like 3 days in advance, and it's very like kind of like blocked off. You kind of just because we didn't want to get sick or anything, so it was kind of reserved from like the families and the media. And so then it was still great. You're super excited to be on that stage in year 6. And in the game, you're like, I remember but leading up to it, I remember Coach Freeman, he would just pick out guys and he'd be like point at someone. He'd be like, Curtis Brooks, they're just Curtis Brooks, but they're just a little bit taller, or they might weigh a little more. Or he'd point out someone else. He'd point out, I think we had Jaheim. I remember this one. Jaheim was a 4-star. He's like, they're a bunch of Jaheems. Jaheim's a 4-star. They're 4 and 5 stars. They're just guys. We know Jaheim. Jaheim's on our team. We can all kick Jaheim's ass. He'd say shit. He does mess around, stuff like that. It's don't worship these guys. They're football players. They just check every box. But You don't got to check boxes in between the stripes. You just go play the game. And so that's what happened. Like I remember I was like when we were out on pump block, like we were going up against him, and like it was either the second one when Tucky just like knocked the guy back into the ball. I don't know if it was the first or second pump, but I remember we were kind of out there. We were like, these guys aren't like they're just like we're like beating up on them on the front line, and we're like, okay, like we can play with these guys. We can rough these guys around a little too, and so that's kind of like how the game was. It was like back and forth. Like we had our shots, they had their shots, and like at the end, I was kind of like, all right, like the game's right here to win. Like we can win this game, and like we should win this game 100%. And defense just got to get the stop. And I remember I was kind of like, I don't know why I thought we were up by 4 points for some reason. I don't know why. And like, I was like, all right, they got to score. Like they're on like the 40-yard line. Like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, we're good. There's no like 36. I was like, shit. Like we're only up by 2. Like they're very close to field. I'm like, I don't know. It was like a huge brain fart by me. I was like, holy shit. Like we got to lock this shit down right now or like we can lose. And then it was like what was it? 56 yards. Is that what it was?
53, I think what it was.
53. Yeah. And you're like, all right, like our guys don't make this. I can tease them. I'm friends with all specials. They sure didn't make any of those last year. We'll just say that. And it's like, all right, like, you know, it could go either way. Like, pray to God, please miss this. And then he just murdered it right down the pipes. And it just hurt really bad because it's like we should have won that game. Like it meant so much to win that game. It was another another like stepping stone, like another like way to like prove like how far we've come and how elite our culture is. And you know, it just sucks because it's one thing getting blown out and one thing to lose, or like you know there's games you're supposed to lose, and there's others like when you kind of had the game there, it was your game to win, and then for them to kind of like kick a 53-yarder right through your heart, it just sucked. It hurt really bad. But it was like after that, it was like, all right, like we can beat these teams. Like we are elite. We are a top 5 team, and we carried that. We like that motivated us all the way through the off season. And I was like, let's go run the table and go in the playoff. Like we can do this. Like let's do that. That's the kind of standard we had. That's the kind of team we built, and we just like kicked ass all off season. Like it was like we worked so hard that off season. We had so many good leaders, so many guys 5-year guys who've been there from the dog days, and it was just like we just lifted everyone up with us. And we had 6-year guys like Joel DeBlanco, God bless him, and Curtis Brooks, and it was just Brown, Curtis Brooks, Joel. Is there anyone else? I think that was all the 6
Kobe
years.
was 5.
Kobe
was 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, Ryan, if you win that game, 2021 looks a lot different. Because my guess is Dez probably goes, Majay probably goes.
Kobe.
I don't think Kobe would have stayed. I think Dez.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
my read on Kobe was they thought he was gone even after the loss. Like they were surprised. I know I talked to Free about it. Freeman was like, I don't know what just happened, but Kobe told us he's coming back. Like
that's just Kobe.
He was kind of surprised.
He's a loyal dog.
Yeah.
He's just a dog. I love that guy. Like he is the best.
But things look entirely different in 2021 probably if you guys win that game. Like it changed the course of history.
You never know, because with guys, you never know like how much of it is based on wanting to come back to the team and how much of it is like draft stock and like the current year, like the current class for their position. And I don't know, like I haven't had those personal talks like with Dez, Kobe, or Majay of why they came back, but if they all would have stayed and we win that game, I think it also would have set the table a lot smoother for us too.
Sure.
In terms of we probably would have been like, what were we ranked to start the year? 8?
Yeah,
I think we would have been like 4, probably, and we would have
probably.
They would have, for some reason, they shouldn't do that, but they would have used the win from last year to like bolster us up. How they do that stuff with other
Especially
teams.
if everybody comes back. I mean, that's what they're going to fight this year. Is they're going to fight perception of they're not going to be nearly as good because 9 guys got drafted and 9 guys just don't get drafted from Group of 5 teams. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I
mean,
wanted
to play Georgia this year so bad too. I wanted that rematch so bad. That I wanted.
Well, the crazy thing is, everybody talked about how like they had all these guys that sat out and declared and da 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 da. That team last year was the team you guys played. Like the team this year was the team you guys played last year because all those guys had to step in and fill those roles. And then you have the what's that game look like if Wig can play, if Sauce can play.
Yeah, I mean it was the same. Like people always kind of like discredited our side of that, which always, I mean, you don't worry about it, but you're always like, yeah, that's bullshit. Like they had guys that didn't play, we had guys that didn't play, but it wasn't like game defining things. Like 22 guys took the field, and it was like what 19 of the 22. Yeah, it was like I don't know, stupid stuff, stupid playoff drama.
Goddamn media, stupid media, fucking.
Yeah, what's wrong with you guys? Can't stand you guys.
The worst.
What was as we start moving into 21? What was the vibe like when Free left? I mean, like, I know it was painful.
Yeah,
I'm rewinding back a little bit, but like, what was it like when Free left, and how difficult was the transition of Tressel coming in and getting adjusted to all that?
It was painful because those stories I was telling earlier about Coach Freeman, like how he really was like very much like a part of the heartbeat of the linebacker room. Like he was tapped into everyone, tapped into the feel. Like everything, it was just always like it was always a great time with Coach Freeman. Everyone was always like laughing, having fun, but we were always respected him, and it's hard to see someone go, but like it was understandable. There's like irrefusable offers sometimes that require tough decisions and require, like saying bye to people you care about. And that's something that we all had to go through, and we were all happy for him, but we missed him a lot. But I think it was like it was like we were at the perfect point as a linebacker room and as a defense for Coach Tressel to come in, because Coach Tressel, like, is a great football coach, like a great defensive mind. And like, he would like look into things and see things and like improve things that like we weren't necessarily doing the year before. And I think it's a credit to the whole staff. It's credit to Coach Fickle, Coach Tress, Coach Hischler, Coach Scruggs, like Coach Eliano, like everyone. When Coach Tress came in, like everyone kind of like fine-tuned everything. And you could tell we were just way more of like a well-oiled machine. We had everything we did last year, we did better. And then we also added in like a ton of more like third down rush packages. And like when Coach Tressel came in, it was like, all right, like Coach Tressel may not be as like socially like socially like talented with the linebackers. He may not be like as fun as Coach Freeman. Meetings might not be as funny. They may be more technical and, maybe a little like not as entertaining, but Coach Tressel, like he kind of recognized like the bond we had and like kind of like the fun we had with each other. And he like adapted his style around that. And that's one thing I really like loved about him and respected about him, is that, coming in, he was a big brain guy, like a very like there's like book smart guys and street smart. He was like a book smart football coach, like love going through like the details and technicalities. And that is always not super fun sometimes to talk about and do meetings over hours upon hours. But he found a way to like bring that and then mold it to us and mold to the defense and make everything better. And he came in at a perfect time. I think he did a perfect job with like adapting and like bringing new things and new ideas and working with Coach Fickle and the other coaches. And it was good. I love Coach Tressel. I'm super like great coach, super thankful for everything he's done for me and the defense. And I think he's going to continue. Like he has his hands full this year with like guys leaving, and like, but I think he's going to do a great job with the other coaches, and I'm excited for him, and I'm excited to have played for him.
Now, you mentioned that, there was kind of a change in between those 2 years, between the COVID year and last year, in just the way that the leaders adjusted, and just kind of there was we got this. We're not taking any shit from anybody. But what changes did you see in yourself as you evolved from the COVID year into last year?
I saw myself grow and my confidence with like leadership on the team. I felt my role grow. I felt like the respect for like my opinion and my voice, and like I just felt that from like everyone on the team, and guys they'd look up to me, they'd value my opinion more, and like that meant a lot to me because I felt like I deserved that given the things that I did for the program and on and off the field. And yeah, I think, but like that was like kind of like everyone just kind of like rose. Coach Vic talked about like our motto is high tides raise all ships, and it's like this tide's rising, like you getting on and you're gonna come with us, like we're bringing you with us, like this program's rising, like we're all rising as individuals, as leaders. And I felt like I was a part of that, and it was super cool.
Were you starting to get involved in like the recruiting and stuff at that point, or had you already been involved when recruits would come in? Like, were you taking anybody under wing or anything?
Oh yeah. So I was always like the engineer liaisons. Any engineer recruit, Coach Vic would stick them with me, and Pat would stick them with me. And so I would talk to like recruits and parents about like what it's like being an engineer and how it's doable and that kind of thing. But like I would always like I would always be like the young linebackers, I'd always like look out for them, help them with stuff, mess with them, and like make sure they're enjoying themselves.
They chose you over Pierce?
Maybe that Alec talked to some guys, but they're probably Alex probably he's got more things to worry about with the offense. Let's let Royer handle this.
See, you were the personality. Alex a nerd, right?
Alex an introvert, and he'll tell you that 100 times.
So Indiana was hot, and it was a win. Good job taking down the Hoosiers. 3-0.
Scary too.
Yeah.
Brent went to Indiana, so he's.
What'd you say?
Got
I
some
did good
connections.
You're
Brent went to IU.
I'm a Hoosier.
There you go. Sorry, man.
Obviously, rep the Bearcats more. So
there you go.
But the next game, got to talk about it. Notre Dame Stadium, that was awesome. I want you to just touch on the game itself, the feeling afterwards, and also that moment when the crowd was kind of chanting "Let's go Bearcats," and it kind of was taking over the entire stadium.
That game was, it was a circle game. You got that game circled going into South Bend, and we knew we had 2 tough games back to back. IU, Notre Dame. We have to win both of them. We're not dropping one and winning the other. We have to win both these games for the goals that we had for ourselves. And so going to that game, it's like we know we can beat them, and we're going to beat them. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go in there. We're going to rip the hearts out of all those Notre Dame fans, all those arrogant Notre Dame fans that you've dealt with your whole life. And it was such a great environment. We had the whole team bus up, which was awesome. Not just the travel squad. Everyone was there. And, opening kickoff, they're playing Shipping Up to Boston, which is our fan song. So,
Yeah.
The fan song is their kickoff. Like, this is our shit. Like, this is like, we're like doing that, joking around with that. And like, it was just literally like probably one of that and like the end of the AAC championship, the moment when they were chanting "Let's go Bearcats," just taking over the stadium for like the third and fourth down play, like in the second. It was the coolest thing ever. It was like this Bearcats nation, like this is like we've arrived, like this is what we're gonna go win this game, and we got like thousands of people here rooting us on, like making such a big, motivating us, cheering us. It was like I said, one of the coolest things I've ever had playing a sport. And winning that game was just – it was awesome. It kind of – like you always touch back to the UCLA, kind of like that. It's like it's a big deal. Like we work our ass off for that, and like we expect to win, and we're going to go do it. And when you do it, it just feels that much better, especially when you get to go shake Coach Freeman and Chad's hand on the other side. It makes it a little more fun. Yeah, it was. And then like the locker room. Did you guys see what Fickle did in the locker room?
The Lucky
The
Charms.
Lucky Charms.
The Lucky Charms. He's like, fuck these Lucky Charms. He said something like super corny and just rips the box off, and it was so funny. Just throws them around.
I have
great.
to know, like, when you guys took the field, could you see the red? Like,
yes.
Could you see what was happening? What was that? Were you guys looking at each other like, holy shit, we're dominating Notre Dame Stadium?
We're like, fuck yeah. Like, let's go. Like, Bearcats traveled. Like, this is awesome. Like, this is like, it was just the perfect environment for the perfect game, perfect win. It was awesome.
Now, last year, the Pump It Up really took a body of its own and just was a whole different animal. And how much of a say did you have in that being the special teams song of choice?
I didn't really tell Brady to do it, but he like knew how much we loved it. He's like, let's make Pump It Up the kickoff song. What do you think? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like 100%. Like, that'll be sick. Like, I was like, I feel like the student section would like that. I didn't like.
We got to give credit where credit's due, right?
It was Bolden, right?
Bolden. Yeah, right. Bolden. If you want the whole story, it was during like fan nights, and like Bolden would like put on like this Pump It Up song. No one knows what it is, and he would like do this dance with it where he'd like act like he's knocking on the door, and then when the beat drops, he'd like kick the door down, and like we all thought it was so funny, and so we loved the song because of that. And like Bolden showed it to us, and we just like play it and like, you know, have a good time and like do what we did on off nights. And so then like Bolden like DJ'd one of the like squat fests, and he puts it on, and Brady's like, what is that song? I love it. I love that song.
Your Brady is on point.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, 5 years. Yeah. 5 years of Coach Brady, pick up on some things, but Brady loved it. And then like he put it on during the workouts, like Coach, it was like whenever the big skill came down, it was like the linebackers and like the tight ends. So it'd be like me, like Huber, Wiley, and like we were all like buddies, and like he would just like kind of cater to our music liking. So we'd listen to like these mixes, like these country like EDM mixes, these like they're called big booty mixes. Brady you have to ask him about them. He loves the big booty mix. And like, so he'd play all these, and then like he knew we loved Pump It Up, so he'd start playing Pump It Up, and like we just every time it'd come on, like we'd all like go crazy down there during the lift. And so he's like, we gotta make it the kickoff song. I'm like, yes, do it. He's like, I'll see what I can do. So he like I don't know if that's Wid or who it is he talked to, but he made it. And like the first game, like they put it on, but like they did the same thing with the third down. Like what is the purge? The purge. Like they don't they play it they don't play it long enough and loud enough. So like the first game versus Miami, they play it, and it was just not loud enough and not long enough. Yeah.
Chad, you're gonna get
I don't think Indoor is dishing out DCMAs. I don't think they are.
We'll see.
Such a good.
I mean, that was bumping in Dallas, and the place was going wild. The pregame plays before that game, but man! But we're gonna fast forward all the way to the AC Championship. Before that, we have to talk about one of your biggest plays of your career.
Oh yeah,
at ECU. Break down the play. Tell us how it felt. Go. Okay. Stage is yours.
This is my one recorded statistic in college football. It's like, all right, you don't believe I played? All right, look at this. I'll show you one. I'll show you one play.
Story for the kids.
Yeah.
Your
So it
grandpa, your grandpa
Yeah.
blocked a kick at ECU.
Do you know what a punt is? No, it's when they kick the ball. I put my hand on that ball. I wasn't supposed to. But so they had this weird little way with we Coach Mace, Coach Mace loves special teams, so he'd always give us a great scouting report. And they had this weird little like thing where like the shield would like hop over and they get really low and squat really low. And he's like to me and Huber, he's like, if you get through there, just one of those times, just fucking just jump over his shoulder, stick your arm out, see what you can do. And we're like, all right. And so the first punt, like the middle shield goes and he crosses over and he's like squatting pretty low, and they let me through, and I just like kind of knife over his pad and like stick my arm out, and like the ball hits my right elbow and just goes right off of it. And I was like, and I just remember I like, because it happened so fast. Like I'm hitting this guy, and like right when I hit the guy, like a ball's hitting me, and I'm like, I felt something on my elbow, but I don't know if it was the ball. And like I look up, and the ball's like sputtering up in the air, like right on the line of scrimmage and hitting the ground. And then I'm like looking at it. I just get up. I was like, in my head, I was like, I fucking blocked it. I blocked the punt. Like I did. Yeah, no, yeah. And like I just get up and just put my hands in the air like this and just run to the sideline and just get swarmed by but like I wanted to they tell us to, if the ball's in front of the line of scrimmage, never touch it, because if we mess it up, it's a fumble and they get the ball. The ball's like sitting there and like there's no one around it, and like I was like Ooh. The devil on my shoulder is like, pick it up and score. Pick it up and score. But I was like, no. Because remember, my roommate
Tulsa.
Wyatt Fisher, remember the Tulsa where he tried to catch it in midair? I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. So I just said, fuck it, go celebrate. So I went, celebrated, like Coach Mason, like grab me, like grab me on the head, like everyone's like. It was like the coolest thing ever. It was like I always knew like I had an impact on like the game because of like the kind of like person I was, like not necessarily like making a play. And like that was like awesome to finally like make that play. I literally hadn't made a play since high school. It's like 4 years. I'd always tell my friends, it's like I haven't like played legitimate football in like 5 years. It's kind of crazy, kind of depressing sometimes. Like I wish I could, but it's just the way it is. But making that play was like, I miss that so much. Like physically doing something on a football field to like affect the outcome. And it was great. I'll never forget it. And like, my favorite part of football, it's always been my whole life, is celebrating with your teammates after you do something or after they do something. And like, just getting to celebrate with like all my special teams guys, like all the guys, like that we do the grimy work, and just getting to like we just did something, like I just did something, and it was show was going crazy, and it was awesome. Like it was the best celebrating with them. I'll never forget it.
Now we do have to rewind, because maybe the most crazy moment for the show was the spring game leading into when the MVP in the spring game was Ryan fucking Roy.
You lost your mind.
It was.
Yeah. I went. Well, you guys have to remember this. I'm 22 years old, like, and like we got Landon Fickle, who should be going to prom out there. We got guys. I think a month or two that might have been 17. We got 17 and 18-year-old guys who should be at prom, and they got me.
They were not ready for Ryan.
They were not, and I told them too. I was like, you guys should be at fucking prom. Like, like, don't be trying to block me. Go dance with your date. But like, I would just like I would just destroy these young kids. I should though, like I've been playing for 4 years. I know they don't know what's going on. They don't know what blitzes I'm doing. Like I've been doing this for a long time.
But you took full advantage. You whipped their ass.
I did. Like me and Alec would joke all the time. It'd be like, I'm like, yeah, I'm killing these. I'm at the threes. I'm killing the threes. Like they're all younger than me. And he's like, yeah, we're the threes. Like,
Chad, it's like what they said.
I'm
to Blue
doing what
Smith.
I'm supposed to.
It's like what they said to Blue Smith this year, right?
You should be killing the threes. You're in your 5th year in college.
Yeah. It wasn't like I always joked around with it because I should be doing this. Like, it's not like a surprise to me or to like anyone. And I know
But
I was
so
never
fun.
like, yeah, it was so fun. But I was always like, I'm not pumping my chest over this. Like, I'm beating on 17-year-olds right now. Like but the spring game was great. It was. Yeah.
Except you did beat your chest. I mean, we saw you celebrating all over the place.
Yeah, like I meant like I wasn't like walking around like thinking I was hot shit or anything. But yeah, no, and it was because I knew that spring game was like it was probably gonna be like one of the last times like I'll get to like competitively play linebacker like in like a scrimmage standpoint and like actually go play like a lot of snaps and like. So, like, I remember all my parents came, like, all my friends came because I have these great group of friends that don't, like, we call them NARPs, non-athletic regular people. And, like, I'm super close with them, and, like, they all came to, like, watch me play. I was like, yeah, if you guys want to watch me play, like, a lot in a row, this will be the last time you'll ever get to do that. So they came, and, like, I just balled out and, like, did a bunch of crazy shit, and it was awesome. And watching, like, just celebrating and, like, and like Coach Bickle, like I'd celebrate and he would just be like, don't celebrate too hard. You got another play to go because he loved like running the threes, like 15 plays in a row. And I would have to run this main blitz like 10 out of the 15 times. So like I'm like exhausted, trying to celebrate, trying to save my energy. But the spring game was awesome. And Chad, I loved how you would just like bring it up.
That's when we started Royer for Heisman, right?
I know, yeah. Like I love that. Just like because Coach Fick, like we've taught him kind of how to joke around more. He wasn't as like he's kind of like
right.
Can't you tell he's way funnier and loose now than how he used to be.
He's as comfortable in his skin as any coach I've ever really been around. Like
yeah, he didn't used to be like that though.
Oh, he's taking shots and giving me shit for 5 years. So you guys might not have seen it, but he's been coming at me from the day he got here. So
yeah. So I loved how you would like poke at him for it. It was so funny and just seeing him like have to address like Ryan Royer to the media like around like I saw one clip.
because I asked him
like
I made him talk about you.
But what I know it wasn't you though. It was like some like guy with like the news network was like, who's this Ryan Royer guy? And like Coach Fick's just laughing because it's just like he has to answer to me and like what I'm doing. I thought it was so funny because people are like, why doesn't he get more reps? It's like because I'm not. He wouldn't ever say it. I'm like, just tell him, Coach. Tell him I'm not gonna start. I'm a third team lunatic scout team guy. Just tell him the truth. Tell him I'm a special teams guy. But he would never do it. I just thought it was so funny.
That's perfect. It's perfect. So what now do we skip ahead to the AAC game?
Now we can go back to the AAC.
Because sadly you didn't pull out the Heisman win that
close
season.
Second.
It was close. I agree. But you guys had a pretty memorable night facing Houston. One of the cooler images of the night was the cell phone lights in the crowd, kind of right before everyone rushed the field after the win. I mean, how was that? You know, obviously you win the AAC championship the year before against Tulsa in front of not many fans and no fans to really, cheer with. But now you had the team and the fans rush the field after taking down Houston.
Yeah, that a lot of people like say like, oh, like Notre Dame was like a lot of fans say like, oh, Notre Dame is my favorite game. What's yours? I'm like, mine. It's either like it's hard to pick between like the playoff and the AAC, but I always lean towards the AAC championship because it's sold out Nippert. It's everything on the line. We knew it. The fans knew it. The fans showed out like crazy. Like it was so loud. Like normally it gets loud like third down. Like it was loud first, second, third down, every kickoff. Like pump it up the whole, like half the lower bowl was jumping around to pump it up. I mean, it just gives me chills thinking about it, like, because I remember like I said, I had these group of friends that they'd come to a lot of the games, and I bargain tickets with my guys because I always wanted to get as many people as I could to come that wanted to come see me. And like they got tickets, they're all in this area, like right to the right of the student section. And like at the end of the game, like you could see like the people, the seats are like opening up at the top of the bowl because everyone's like shifting down. And I just see my friends and they're like making their way down. And like this is like when the game's in the bag. I like see them. And I'm like, you're coming down right here. Like, we're rushing the field. Let's go. Like, get down here. I'm like pointing to them. They're like weaving their way through the crowd. Everyone's got their lights on, and people. I'm like, fuck yeah! Like, get down here. Like, we're rushing the field. Let's go. Like, it was the coolest thing. And like, then like they rushed the field, and I'm like stuck in the middle, and then like 8 of my friends just turn out of nowhere right next to me. We're in there like singing "We Are the Champions." They're like lifting me up in the air, like throwing me up in the air. Like we're singing the alma mater, and it was just, and like people were like, they're like dumping beer. They're like, students are like dumping beer down your face mask and your mouth. It was like the coolest thing ever. It was like the exclamation point on everything that we did for 5 years. Like, from the hell of the first year, it was like that was payday. Like that was everything. And it was the coolest moment of my life. Like, hands down. Celebrating with your teammates, your best friends, like friends that don't play, friends that do play, your family. Like, it's just hugging your coaches, your parents, like knowing what you did, raising that trophy with like 20,000 people on the field with you. Like, it was the coolest thing ever.
How much of it was the release of all that stress, all that pressure that had built throughout the season? They're not beating teams bad enough. They're not, they're not this, they're not that. Like all these doubts that had accumulated, even as you guys are winning games by 2 and 3 touchdowns. It's not good enough. It's not this. It's not, and then the Big 12 championship ends like it does. I don't know how much you guys were aware of that, like live in the moment. But there was an understanding.
I think we were warming up. Yeah.
Yeah, you were warming up when it happened. How much of that was just the release of all that stress and pressure of, you know what? We fucking did it. Everybody doubted us. Yeah. Everybody had whatever they wanted to say about us, but we did it.
I do think there's something to say about that. And what people didn't really understand was when you were in the spot that we were in, like you are getting like the kitchen sink thrown at you every week. Literally, yeah. Navy told us like every single week every single day during camp, there's a Cincy period where they would just put in like more they put in to beat Army, to beat the other academies. They wanted to beat us more than they wanted to beat the Air Force and the Army. The whole week leading up to our game versus them, they practice onside kicks for 20 minutes a day. So like that's just like, and not every team took it as serious as them, but what it was is that people didn't realize that every single week it's like we're getting everybody's like ultimate best shot. Like we're their circle game every week. So it's so hard to go out there and like please the committee and like do all that shit. So like it would, like Coach Vic knew it. Like you could feel like that like pressure with like that outside noise was kind of getting in, and we tried our best every week to just like put on them, like block it all out. Let's be us. Let's have fun. We're winning. Let's enjoy winning. Let's not get hung up in all the bullshit. It was hard. Like you try, but some noise gets through. And I can't say we were perfect in handling that, but when you're on the sideline, you're like, if we win, we go to the playoff. Like, let's go fucking win. And then when you do it, like you do it, you're like, all right, like you said, it's like that release, that like the elation of winning goes along with like the relief of not having to put up with all that like negative energy. That is a good point.
Coach
You know, we
had to
didn't even,
remind you. After wins, he had to remind you, guys, we fucking won. Relax. Like, it's okay. We won.
Yeah. And
Every
yeah,
single
you can
time.
tell sometimes Coach, yeah.
At Tulane,
He wanted,
USF,
he'd walk in and he'd be like, he wanted to like, because we ran a very tight ship of like, we're going to go do our work. I don't like it's some days are going to suck. Tough luck. If you want to win, buckle up. Let's go. And then he's like, it was hard. I could tell it was hard for him because he was like towing the line between like, all right, these guys are kind of like not having fun right now. How do I like read the room of like versus like keep my hard-nosed mentality, even though it might not be good right now for the team. Like the team needs to kind of enjoy what we're doing, have fun, not be so caught up in all the bullshit. And I thought he did his best job as he could with that. And, you know, we won all the games. We made it to the playoffs. So, but it is hard. And it was hard for everyone, coaches and players.
Before we get to the talk about the playoff game, we did have a question. Favorite clutch play in the AAC championship?
Ooh. I always loved the Ahmad sack. I thought that was sick. Like, that play always sticks out to me. Alex touchdowns, dunking on the guys. You know, I love that.
Joel's interception.
Oh yeah. Joel, Alec dunking on him and Joel, because those guys are like my day ones right there. Watching them do that, it's just like a special little. You feel a little more for those guys, but I don't. Yeah, there's like Ahmad, Joel, and Alex touchdowns were probably my favorite, most clutch.
Joel in the postgame presser was simply fantastic.
Oh, yeah. What did he say? I didn't see it.
Just his whole look.
Big shades.
He
wore the shades.
The ski goggles on.
Yeah.
He wore the ski goggles into the presser and just sat there like he didn't have them on at all.
No, Jerome had
the ski goggles.
That's right.
Joel had the shades.
Yeah,
the aviators.
Like,
Gosh.
I'm gonna see if I can find
if I would have known
the tweet.
If I would have known he did that, I would have clowned him so hard for that. I actually just talked to Joel on the phone before this. Next time he calls me, I'm gonna give him some. Hey,
you got to give him credit. That dude signed the fastest free agent, like non-drafted free agent deal in the history of the NFL. The draft was like, all right, that's it. That's it here from Las Vegas. We'll see you next year. And then 14 seconds later, it was like Joe DeBlanco signed with the New Orleans Saints.
I remember I was out in OTR. We just graduated, so we were doing like a little graduation thing. My parents, like a bunch of my friends, and we've had a couple of drinks, and we're out at the Drinkery. I don't know if you know where that place is. And like it pops up on my phone, and like all my friends, we all know Joel, and we're all like jumping up and down, like Joel, yeah, like let's go, like this is awesome. We're like sending them videos of us celebrating. But yeah, I was super happy for him.
We'll talk about it, Dallas. Just kind of the whole experience, taking that in, and kind of what your thought and the team's thought was when it was Alabama who popped up at that one spot playing against you guys. What was the initial feel? What was everything going into it? And then that experience in Dallas itself.
Like when we got that, it was like, all right, we're here. And like, we embrace the challenge. You know, we're a tough team. We loved like hard workouts in the off season. Like we loved getting through hard practices and like standing out on the other side, like knowing that we're better and stronger because of it. So when we see Alabama, we're like, all right, this is the team. This has been the team past like 8 years. Like, let's go. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. Like, let's play these guys. Let's go win. And we got a plan. We got the plan in. Like, the coaches were all over it quickly, and we're like, we can do this. Like, this is very doable. We can go win. We believed in ourselves. We get to Dallas, and it was awesome. Like, the Cotton Bowl was amazing. Treated us so well. Ate great. Rested great. Lived great. Did a bunch of fun things. You know, it's good to be like rewarded with those things. But everyone was just wanted to go play. Like we practiced in AT&T Stadium the whole week. We're like, let's just get to the game. Like, let's go. Like, we want to play these guys. And then we believed in it. We thought we were going to win. We believed in our team and our game plan, and we were ready. We'd been tested on the biggest of stages, and we're like, let's go. Let's take the next step. And running out, it was awesome. Like, that was so, like, the Bearcat Nation showed up big. It was like 50,000 Bearcats to 50,000. There wasn't more Bama fans, not one bit. And we saw that. We loved it. We were going nuts on the sideline, like, for the kickoff and stuff like that. And, like, they're Alabama, they came out, kind of hit us in the mouth with their run game, which kind of took us by surprise because, we weren't really anticipating that. And, like, because, Tulsa, we knew Tulsa was kind of like that. They're going to come at us that way. But Bama kind of just said, we're Bama. We're going to go head to head with you. And they did. They kind of beat us up on the ground, which always hurts as a defense. But we had plenty of opportunities in that game. Like, the score doesn't really indicate it, but we had like a touchdown on our opening drive, get batted down at the line of scrimmage. That seemed to happen every single big play. That Mathis. Everyone talked about Will Anderson, and that motherfucker Mathis was just – it was like the first time, like so when I'm on punt block, I run off the field when their defense is coming on, and, like, I'm, like, running past these guys. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I felt like a middle schooler. I felt like I was in middle school. I was like, get me off.
You were at Matrills back again, right?
Yeah, yes. Worse. Imagine Kevin Muhan, but, like, 6'4" and 300 pounds. And Muhan is a big
dude.
Like, he is,
yeah.
And, like, that, they were like a little bit bigger, faster, and they were more physical than the Georgia team we played in the Peach Bowl.
So not all a team of Jaheems.
No. They might have been – these guys would have hurt on Jaheim a little bit. But, yeah, like I said, we had opportunities. Like, what was it, 17-6? We get the pick at midfield in the second half. And, like, there's plenty of times where we're like, all right, let's go do this. Let's go take control. Let's go get some momentum.
For me, it was the muff punt that you didn't get.
Yeah, those are always tough. But, I mean, it's Nick Saban, his staff. They're going to be ready. They're going to know how to respond. That's exactly what they did. They kind of stomped out any fire.
They said, we don't care how good our number one wide receiver is. We're not fucking throwing a sauce either.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
No thanks. We don't want any part of that.
It shows how elite Ahmad is. Even Bama doesn't mess with him.
-3 yards.
Yeah, Nick Saban watched the tape and went, "Nah, fam.
Yeah,
good on that.
That's not for us."
Yeah,
we might have the Heisman in a top 15 pick, but we're not throwing his way either. Like, we're gonna figure out a different way to do it.
I felt really good about our preparation and how we played in their passing game. That run game is really what killed us. And we weren't really expecting that. Like, we just, they just kind of – sometimes you just get a little dominated, and you just got to be like, all right. But this thing, there wasn't like a next week. There wasn't like a next game for me and a lot of the guys. Like, that was it. That was your last time playing. And it hurts to lose. It hurts even more to lose on, like, your last game ever and in, like, the playoff, because we all felt like we were good enough to win. We knew we belonged. We didn't feel satisfied with just being there. Like, we weren't just like, oh, we're here, like, let's have fun. Like, we're here, let's go win. Like, let's go play for a national championship. Let's go beat the guys who stole the game from us last year. So it hurt, and it was still a great experience. Something you always remember, and something, like, not just us, but, like, all of you, like, a lot of generations of Cincinnati people, they're going to talk about that and remember that. And it's very special to be a part of that and to know that you like had an impact on something like that. So it's something to like hang your hat on.
You didn't get the bowl experience the year before. You made up for it at that hotel. That hotel,
yeah, that
was amazing.
Well, that was the coolest.
That was like a
hotel
5-star, that was like a 5-star resort, like on an island somewhere, man. That
I
place
don't even know if
unreal.
you can you even call that a like it was crazy. It was like indoor, like what do you even call that? It's like
I mean, it's a resort. It's legitimately like a resort you get like on a Caribbean island somewhere. I did not expect it. So we didn't get down there until the 30th. So on New Year's Eve, it was like, let's go. I went with my daughter. We were like, let's go check out the team hotel and see what it was like. I was like, this place is never ending. She wanted to go. They had that like winter wonderland thing. We didn't even go. I feel like I only saw like 50% of it. I didn't even. We kept walking for like an hour, like winding through the hotel to go find this like, they had like a tubing thing and like some ice skating and like a bunch of games for kids and stuff. But like, it took an hour to get there from the front of the hotel. That's how big that place was. It was unbelievable. And apparently there's like an outdoor water park on the lake that like
really
is closed during the winter that we didn't even get to. Like, if you look that place up and look at some of the pictures, you're going to be like, I didn't know that existed. Like, that wasn't even a part of the experience we had there. We didn't even know that place was part of it.
I know, we didn't even need that too. Like what they gave us, like it was like I can't even imagine having any more to do. And like the players' lounge, like it was
the media
crazy.
lounge was ungodly.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. They treated us so well. Made up for the no-show of the Peach Bowl.
I did find that picture, by the way.
The Joel.
Yeah.
Gosh, he is so.
He did the whole thing that way.
Whoop, wrong one.
He is so goofy for that. Like that is so funny. That's just Joel. He'll always do like goofy things like that. I love his straight face too. It's like he's not even like joking around. It's just like I'm super serious.
Very serious. You guys have just won the American Athletic Conference Championship, and that was his demeanor the whole entire time.
He looks like the Terminator.
He does.
I would break you. He's like Ivan Drago from Rocky.
Yeah, we would call him those things. It was funny.
So even though you guys didn't pull out the win, how cool was draft day and draft days, plural, and kind of just then seeing all the free agent signings afterwards, kind of a way to wrap it all up. How it was just, season didn't end the way we needed it to, but this was a special team, and now everyone's seeing why. Yeah,
and you're like super happy for your teammates, your brothers, guys that you've watched grow, because like none of those, maybe Ahmad, maybe Maije, but even those guys, like they were like when they came in, they weren't ready to be what they were when they got drafted. Like they were molded, and like guys like Alec, who like I like was like one of my best friends, like did school and like lived with for like half of college, and like just seeing like where he's came and like Dez and it just made, when guys personally and like the things they've gone through, and then to know all the special things we did together on the field and seeing them get drafted, it just makes it so much better than like watching, like if you're like a fan of like a team and like seeing one of your guys get picked. Like it just means so much more, knowing how much like these guys are going to be set for life and how much they deserve that, and just shows like the development, the culture. I keep saying culture over and over because it's so important. I will die by it's what made us win, and like that's a testament to Brady, Coach Fick, all the coaches, like the whole strength staff, like Coach Danny Foligno, Zach Higgins, Jeremiah, guys who didn't graduate, moved on to other teams like Stacchiotti. Like it took so many people, and then watching that give back to 9 guys that are going to be like set for life if they do things the right way. And the NFL, like it's great. You're super happy for your program and for those guys too.
How many NFL teams did you have to tell thanks but no thanks? Like, I've got a job. I can't come be your special team days.
We were joking around.
I'm an engineer now. I can't, sometimes you gotta put it behind.
I know. Yeah. And it was funny because like, we always like to joke around, like guys like that I'm like friends with on the team, and they're like, dude, you better get training. Like you've been doing a lot of drinking lately. You need to go get ready. Like, you're about to get a call here on day 3. You need to lock it in. And they're like, it was funny. It was like always the joke, like day 3, everyone's like, hey, get ready, bro. Like you need to be locked in on the TV. I'm like, yeah, I know. And that even just leads me to just joke about like, just people like ask me like, why didn't you do pro day? Like people that like know me that like aren't on the team or just like people that know who I am. They're like, why didn't you do pro day, man? Like, what do you mean? Like, you're not going to play in the NFL? Like, what do you mean, bro? Look at me. Like, I'm shorter than you. And like, I played on pump block and KOR. Like, I can't make it any clearer to you. I'm not playing in the NFL. Don't be mad at me because I'm here drinking a beer with you and not training with Joel. All right, just let it go. And yeah, it was funny. It was like, why don't you think you're gonna play in the NFL? Like, what do you mean you're not? What do you mean you're not gonna go try out for a team? It's like, it's over, man. I'm not playing. Like, I'm not playing football anymore. Just let me go be an engineer in my cubicle and make decent money, but not millions. All right, we'll call it that.
Jason wants to know: could Alec have been a better linebacker than you?
No, because they tried him out.
He spent 3 days at linebacker, and that was it.
Yep, that was it. Almost ruined his career. I have to say that could have been like we know Alec how Alec has just turned into this stud wide receiver, and like that was like that was on like the chopping block, ready to be like
Freeman almost ruined him.
I know. Coach Joker didn't think he was good. I don't like.
That's
we all knew
Joker
he was
wasn't around anymore.
I know. They said we saw that one out. Alex in the NFL. Joker's not with us, so that one worked out good for us. But yeah, it was. We're like, I remember. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? Tell them you don't want to. I was like, dude, you don't belong here. Dude, tell them you don't want to do this right now. Because like he was like, so he was also interrupting. He was interrupting crucial show moments because it would be me, Bolden, me, Bolden, and Sponseller, the OGs. We'd be out there, and since they were trying out Alec at sniper, they told Ty, like, all right, let Alec take some of your reps so we can see what he could do. So then Alec would just be out there messing up the whole mojo. I'm like, bro, like, you're ruining this for us. Like, this is our thing, and you're not good at it either. Go back there and be athletic and start. Get out of here. You don't deserve to be a 3 with us.
Let's throw. Here we go. This is a good one.
It's a good one. Your favorite jersey and pants combo? What's the Royer special?
Well, and you got to throw the helmet in there too, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got. I mean, look, man. Black on black, nip at night.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't know that it gets any better than that in all in college football. So I think we have to take that out.
Okay.
I think we have to say outside of black on black, what's your favorite jersey pants helmet combo?
I like the black pants, white jersey, red helmet. I like that.
So get a little bit of everything involved.
Yeah. Wait. Well, what did we? Is that what we wore for the playoff? No, we wore black, white, black, right?
Yeah, black, white, black.
Yeah. I like that one. I like the way that looks. That's what we beat Notre Dame.
With the white face mask. You have to go the white face mask.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I also like the all red. The all red was pretty cool, like the matte red with like the red jersey, red pants. Yeah. We wore that in the championship. That was cool.
I also have
yeah.
Go ahead if you had more on the.
I'm just not I don't get into all the jersey things. I know it's like I'm just like, just give me my pads and helmet so I can go hit somebody. I don't really care what's over top of them.
What did you think of the TikToks every week announcing it, and then how they got to the point? Like everybody, I know you know this. The UC fans have a dread of the white helmets.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
they
It's so
hate
funny.
them passionately from the Sugar
It's not
Bowl.
'cause- yeah, we got ran
From
in
the
the
Sugar
Sugar
Bowl.
Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from
So
the Sugar
I
Bowl
love
when
the
they wore
TikToks. Yeah.
stormtroopers.
Yeah.
The TikToks that
Kelsey-
would always tease the white helmets, and the
Yeah,
UC
that
fans
was
were like,
so
"No,
funny.
they're like, no!"
The
Kelsey
Squid
is so
Games one,
talented.
the white helmet.
Yeah, that was the
Kelsey's
linebackers.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's so talented, and like those TikToks were so sick. And like I didn't even really care. I was like not even like paying attention to what jersey was even being released. I was like, this is so cool. Like
Oh, yeah.
these
Right.
edits, these cuts, like these, like I'm not even worried about the jersey at this point.
Sauce with the drip coming down with his
Yeah.
like that one,
Yeah.
and it like so many of them. The
Lenny with Kanye West.
or
Lenny,
the
yeah.
Squid
My-
Game when they were coming down the stairs.
Yeah.
Squid
That's
Game
what-
going,
Sick.
yeah.
Like
Right, yeah,
so
you were
many
talking
of
about
them
that.
were. It was just like she one ups herself every week. Like, all right, I brought
Yeah.
it last week. I got to bring it even more this week. Like, so
I like
good.
the
It was-
Wiley one where he like was
Yeah, it's
shaking all over the place and his head was
I
moving.
don't even know how she does that. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Super
insane.
cool. But I liked it. And the white helmet thing is so funny. I mean, it's just like that's what fans do, you know. You're
Real
always
funny.
like, because like it's just fun. It's
Superstitious.
like, yeah, I remember I'm a huge Blue Jackets fan, and when they made the playoffs, first the Lightning, and they swept them. Was that like 3 years ago now or 4 years ago? Like I had this outfit on, like I gotta wear this, and I wore it for game
Yeah.
2. They won. I wore it for game 3. They won. I wore it for game 4. They won. I was like, yeah, like this is my superstition. So I think I like it what the fans do. Like it's funny how it's almost like it seems like the fans kind of influence the fact we don't really wear the white helmets.
Right.
They must have
just
they
feel like
screamed
they're
loud
bad
enough.
luck.
I know.
Well, the thing is, if you actually look over the last like 5 or 6 years, and a lot of that is because you guys just haven't lost many games, the white helmets are not bad luck. But there is
Yeah.
just this feeling amongst the fan base.
stigma.
Yeah, the stigma that like
Did we wear the whites
everybody
versus
wrote
Temple
them off.
when we lost at Temple? Or do we wear black?
Might
Because
have.
I'm like, if we lost that game, like that would be if we were wearing the whites, I'd be like, all right, maybe we shouldn't wear the whites again.
Great question. How mad were you, Temple, celebrating in front of your sidelines?
We almost got into a brawl before the game.
Right.
Because we ran through, like we were trying to get out to our warm up, and they were like spread out all by our tunnel. It was like hard for us to not run through their thing. We run through it. They start like yapping, like some of our guys start yapping, and like we're like, all right, like, and then Coach Fick and their coach get into it, and like before the game, Coach Fick comes in, he's like, I wanted to punch that motherfucker right in the face. And we're all like, we're like hyped. We're like, what is he talking about? Like, what happened out there? Like, he made it seem like they had to be like separated. And we're all like hyped. We're like, all right, let's go. It was a scrappy game. But what I couldn't believe was the refs making us re-kick a live snap.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yep.
TV wasn't on.
The TV wasn't.
It was
back,
like, who cares? It was live. We put the ball down.
You
blew the
guys made
whistle.
it live.
And then we,
The
of
refs
course,
made it live.
miss the next one and then go on to lose. It's just, and then they're
So
out there,
after
they're
that-
out there like this. They had a coach. A coach was like doing this, and
Doing the
Oh,
Fortnite
God.
dance.
yeah, doing like a Fortnite dance at us, and we wanted to kill him. Like the guy,
A couple days after that game, we had the Tuesday press conference where we were always down, and down there, and we're talking to Mets, and Mets was like, "I did not like them on our side. I did not like them."
Mets is so funny because he's just so like he doesn't say much, and it's so like it's like a kid talking when he talks.
And
It's
then he
just
said, "When we play them next year, I will break them."
yes, dude, that's great.
We did have a question in the mail.
we hated them. We loved beating. I loved beating them the next 2 years after that. 3 years. Is that 2 or 3? It was
19, 20, 21.
We did have a question in the mailbag for you, Ryan. Do you agree with Chad that Jack Dingle is an Adonis?
What is an Adonis? Like
A Greek
Adonis?
god.
Like
Like
a Greek
Captain
god.
Rock.
Yeah.
He-
So I
yeah, he-
apparently I said it in passing one time in a podcast, and it is stuck. And now I don't even remember saying it, but it's now like something that I can't escape because I just like when he doesn't. It was coming from when he came in as an 18-year-old, and you're like 18-year-olds don't look like that.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah. He looks like this. He like walks around like
Right.
him and Jake. I don't know what. Have you ever? It's such a unique like muscle trait, like traps. Like you don't normally just see a guy with just big ass traps just walking around just for no reason. It's not like he's just in the gym doing like 1,000 reps of traps a week. He just has these both of them, and because Jake, the older one, isn't nearly as like big as Jack, but his traps are like the same size as Jack's. So he's just walking around like a 210-pound safety like this.
I feel like they find a reason to just walk around shirtless after practice, right? They're just
yeah, but dude, the Dingles they're so funny. Like, if you ever have a chance, you need to do a
familiar with
Dingle
Spicoli?
interview. Spicoli. Oh, what is that from? Is it from it's Sean Penn, right? From that
Fast
movie.
Times at Ridgemont High.
Ridgemont High. Yeah. There's like Spicoli, yeah.
They are Spicoli.
I live with Jacob.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, but Jack is like huge. I still think Joel DeBlanco is probably the biggest Adonis. Like he was. Do you ever see Joel shirtless in the off season?
Yeah.
Like he looked like a statue, a chiseled statue. And granted, because you got to remember, Joel didn't eat anything other than chicken and rice. He never had a sip of alcohol in his life. He's just imagine he's the opposite of me. Like that's why I look the way I look, and he looks the way he looks. Not super healthy. I boozed hard as hell in college, and he didn't have a single drink. And I was like, I could look like Joel. It would be nice. Or I could just keep my shirt on and look like me, and the women wouldn't tell a difference.
Did you ever see him do the thing with the cases of beer? Did you ever hear about this?
No.
So like bars, like he bar backed, as you know. At
Grail, yeah.
So when they would break down the cardboard like cases of bottles of beer, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just breaking down, folding them, and throwing them away, he was getting hand exercises in by taking the cardboard and rolling it into a cylinder. God. And the guys at Holy Grail are like, "What the hell are you doing? And how can you do that? How are you strong?" And Joel was like, "I've been trying to find something to get my hand strength up.
I've been trying to work on my grip strength so I can grab people and tackle them."
And that was how he got his hand strength workouts in, was rolling up cardboard cases of beer. It was like, what kind of freakazoid human is that?
Yeah, because we'd be down at the Grail, and like Joel would just like, don't tell the girls.
I'm working, guys. Leave me alone.
No, Joel would just like hand me like free beer, and I'll be like, thanks, Joel.
They're not a sponsor. Don't worry. They're not watching. It's okay.
Joel would be like this. I'd be like, hey, Joel's gone. You can't fire him if he already left. So.
They don't care. Trust
me. He's New Orleans problem now.
Yeah.
All right. 2.5 hours. We gotta let Ryan go. We have seized 2.5 hours of his second vacation. That's why I don't feel as bad. If you'd only had one vacation.
Well, this is the family vacation, right?
Yeah, this is the family vacation.
So yeah,
you were probably trying to look for.
we ate dinner. They're downstairs chilling. I'm good. Don't worry. Hey, it's been great. Flew by. I loved getting to meet you, Brent and Aaron. But Chad, it's always great talking to you.
You
It was
know
great.
nothing but love, brother. You know
Yeah.
nothing but love. I don't discriminate. I love the guys I love on the team, the guys that I'm drawn to and provide great content. And I'll tell you what. So I don't know if you know this or not, but Brady is the honorary fourth member of this podcast.
Uh-huh.
So in the off season, he does almost every other week with us to
Oh,
update
really?
on where things are at, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And then
cool.
he has to shut it. He has to shut it down during the season, obviously, because I don't want to get him in trouble with Vic. He comes on here and says some shit that he's not allowed to say about an opponent.
Yeah.
So, standing invitation when the season hits, every Monday night, I'll find us a sponsor and get you paid. You come on and be the fourth member of this podcast to break down games and what you see.
Chad,
I would love to. I would love to. Thank you. I need a break from my engineer friends I'm going to be dealing with at GE. I'm going to need to talk some ball and not about freaking engines.
Ball nuts and
yeah.
Or just find a co-host and you
I'd
can have
love
your own
that.
show.
I don't know. I can't do that. I love you guys too much.
I'm serious. When we get closer to the season, we'll set this up. I want you on Monday nights to come on and talk football with us.
Yeah, I'd love that. It'd be great. You can always get some more stories, get some more inside scoop.
Yeah,
there we go.
The show, baby.
The show lives
Fellas,
on.
I don't know what you guys think. No mailbag tonight. This is it.
No.
We're at 2.5 hours.
We're at 2.5 hours. This is as good a podcast as we've ever done.
And
Royer was phenomenal.
And when you come on those Monday shows, one of us will play the fan game live on camera.
We do
have to mention Urban Artifact.
We do need to mention Urban Artifact.
Sorry, Urban Artifact. We didn't have any. So we have a timestamp sponsor for every new segment that we do. We just had 1 2.5 hour segment tonight, so we didn't get to do the timestamp. Urban Artifact, fruit tart beers. Go visit their Northside tap room. Get a flight of 4 beers. Tell them Bearcat Journal. Get $2 off and enjoy all the fruit tarts. 700,000 pounds of fruit a year, Ryan, goes into the beer making process at Urban Artifact. There's no artificial fruit seasonings, fruit taste. It's all natural fruit. So make sure you get down to Urban Artifact. Tell them Bearcat Journal sent you. Get $2 off a flight of 4 tasters. And guys, Brent, I'll let you knock it out. Ryan, 1,000,000 times over. Thank you, man. This was everything I've ever wanted it to be. I've talked about having you on for a while now. We tried to have you on the Draft Night podcast. Yeah. And you went out and had some fun and you couldn't make it.
Yeah. This was way better. We wouldn't have had nearly enough time with you on the draft night.
All right, good. Hey, I got plenty more stories too, guys. So any other time you want me on before the season, you want a couple laughs, a couple inside track stories, just let me know. I thank you so much for having me, guys. You guys are the best. Go Bearcat.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Ryan.
We'll hold you to that.
We'll hold you to that. Out of here.
Well, guys, fantastic one. Special thanks to Urban Artifact. Special thanks to Danco Transmission. And, of course, huge thank you to Mr. Bearcat himself, Ryan Royer. This was a fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
Sit!